The Northman I have not watched yet.
Northman. I said Norse.
Yeah, you
I knew what you meant.
Northman.
Bill
Alexander.
Skarsgård?
Yeah, no, Alexander Skarsgård.
Okay, I can never keep track of the Skarsgårds.
Because they're
three of them.
That's
rolling
because they're
around.
all fucking amazing.
It's from
Yeah,
that
they're all-
pretty
yeah.
talented family.
It doesn't matter who it is.
Who'd
They're
have
all
thought
great.
The Swedes would have given us like a fucking acting dynasty.
Right? Yeah, right. Everything from Stellan to Bill
Stellan,
to
Bill,
Alex to Gustav. Like,
Gustav.
Yep.
Fuck, there's a fourth one?
yeah, he's in Vikings.
I didn't
The
know
show
that.
Vikings.
I've seen Vikings, but
the
I've
Tyr, the one that the boat builder. That's him. He's the oldest.
Coming out of the woodwork.
Yep, he's the oldest too.
He's older than Stellan Skarsgård.
Well, no, that's their dad.
Okay, well you.
It's dad, son. Stella Skarsgård is like he's the dad. He's the one that had the great seed and planted in a woman.
Have you listened to the Deep Blue Sea episode of How Did This Get Made?
I saw that on
Maybe.
that was on TV right now to watch. I saw it like
The episode they have Paul F. Tompkins on there, and they're talking about it, and he's typing in Stellan Skarsgård, and they figure out that if it'll autocorrect to Stellar Skateboard, and they just between them and the audience, his Wikipedia page got hammered with like also known as Stellar Skateboard. That his Wikipedia page got shut down.
Wow.
So now I like whenever I see Stellan Skarsgård, I'm like Stellar Skateboard.
Stellar Skateboard. He probably could too. I wouldn't put it past that fucking guy.
Right.
Everything that he does is great. Same with his fucking family. God, I wish I had I hope my sons turn out to be as good as I am. I guess I want them to be better, but
Right.
welcome back, my Banter Bro heroes, to yet another super duper heroic adventure. I am your not so friendly, more likely to chop off your head and piss in your mailbox neighborhood vigilante, Timothy Souped Up Dick of Bennett. And with me is my super duper Banter Bros, Jason Chandler.
Hey.
And my super duper little bit of a Banter Bros now, Aram Benyon.
What up?
Aram is
Sorry,
with us.
I work.
It's been a hot minute, but he's with us. So tonight we are going to be talking about Age of Ultron for our Marvel's film,
Yeah.
and I'm excited about this one. And then we're going to be talking about our last April theme topic, which is
Man versus self.
Man versus self. So if anybody has a confusion about that, it's basically we're going to be talking about movies that have an internal struggle with somebody. So a man or woman who has an internal battle or some sort. So
Main character.
main character.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, otherwise, that's a lot to take. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta just be the main character.
Main character has
Oh, yeah.
has an internal struggle. Yeah.
So, we wanted to bring up the new trailer that got dropped
Yeah.
last week, right?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And I've watched it. Like I said, I watched it at least once every day since it came out. So a good 20 times or so.
Oh, it's not a trailer, it's a teaser.
The
actually.
teaser. It's not even a full
It's-
trailer.
yeah, there's
it's just
way
a
too much-
fucking
And
teaser.
I just have to clarify because it's like you forget it's a teaser. I don't know. It's,
Well,
it's so good.
About how many times do you think you watched it already?
At least 12.
Yeah. And you said you watched it at least a couple times.
I've
already.
watched it at least a few times, and I've read some articles even on the teaser trailer. There's so much fucking information in
Right,
that
just
teaser
that
trailer.
little teaser. And so within the first 12 hours, I read this.
Have you even said the name of the
Nope,
trailer?
that's I was waiting.
Okay.
So,
He's trying to hype it up. Shut up.
yep. Within the first 12 hours of it being released, just this teaser, 209 million views. in 12 hours.
Yeah.
Did it break a record or something?
I don't know.
But yeah,
no idea.
nevertheless, that is
It's just a lot.
outstanding numbers.
Yes.
So people are, in awe like we are.
I'm fucking oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that teaser would be the 4th installment of the Thor
4 Love and Thunder.
of the Thor standalone movies, Love and Thunder. Thor, Love and Thunder, and it looks good.
Looks
It
dope.
does look
Yeah.
fun.
Same director who did Ragnarok. Aaron, you want to mention his name?
The director's name is Taika Waititi.
TW.
T-Dub.
T-Dub. And so I no doubt that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
be funny. It's going to be witty. It's going to be well written.
Well,
And
there was funny stuff already in the teaser. Like,
Exactly. That's
exactly.
why it's rewatchable. It's
Yep.
like, I don't know.
And we
Oh, yeah.
already saw like in the last little bit that we get, and we'll dive into this later, but we already know that Thor became a space pirate basically for a little bit, hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Yeah.
now I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. So yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer, then you're living under a fucking rock.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse because you can have cell service under a rock too. So
Pay your internet bill
yep,
and get on it.
get on it. And stay tuned for whenever we get a chance to go talk about that later down the road.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the next 6 months.
I'm gonna have to see that one in the theater.
Mm.
We should just get a day together where we can all go together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally done. I'll take the day off.
We do
Right.
that and Multiverse of Madness. We should probably
Yeah,
try
I was
Oh,
that.
I
gonna ask
really
you
want to
about
watch
that,
that in
but-
theaters. I really do. I want to watch that in theaters.
That one looks like it's the one
it
that should be
seems
seen.
that- yeah.
Sam
Theaters.
Raimi, like, come on, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and not to bring this back up too much, but the Love and Thunder. One of the biggest reasons why Christian Bale is in that movie is because of the script.
I missed that Christian Bale was in that movie. Why
Oh
is-
yeah.
Who's he playing?
God the Butcher. God the Butcher. The
Oh,
bad guy.
okay.
He's playing the bad guy. He's playing the main
that's
villain.
right. I do remember
Yeah.
reading that he
But
was
the only reason he said that after doing the Christopher Nolan Batmans, he's like, after having to don the suit and stuff like that, take them
yeah.
on and
You
off
wanna
and
know
on and
more
off.
superhero
He's like,
shit?
I don't want to do this no more. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
not, this isn't for me. Like, apparently he just doesn't like superhero films or,
Mhm.
want to be in them. But because the script was so good, he's like,
Say.
okay.
certainly
Yeah.
seems like
Okay.
he doesn't like being in popular movies, is what I'd say. But
I don't know. He seems
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah, he seems difficult. But once again, he doesn't put on a bad performance.
No.
no.
So, all right, we're going to be getting into Age of Ultron.
Age of
The real
Ultron.
topic of discussion. Otherwise, we can sit here and talk about the
Hell yeah.
goddamn teaser for a while, just like we did in Mortal Kombat.
right? Whole episode.
Whole episode of. So, Aram, give us some details before we
right.
dive into it. Actually, first of all,
Yo,
how long? We've all seen this prior, but how long do you think it's been since you last saw it?
oh,
Probably around the time it came out. I haven't gone back to watch this.
yeah, same. Like I think right after it came out, I think
Yeah.
I watched it once, and like Marvel's been punching them out so quickly, like I just never went back.
Yeah, and that was something I was realizing too. Now that they've been coming out so much quicker, especially at this point, they were coming out at
Yeah,
least
they were
a
hammering them out.
couple a year or something at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of just move on at
Yeah.
that point. And I have to agree. I think that when I bought the DVD, it was when it came out on DVD, it was probably the last time. I'm not gonna say 100%, but
Yeah.
I don't remember last time. It's definitely been 6 years.
Yeah, it'd been a while.
So-
Like when I watched it this morning, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I didn't watch. I haven't seen this for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've only watched it twice.
There's a lot of things that I still remember. Like it stuck in my head for sure. And I'm like, oh yeah. But there's so many things that I'm wanting to talk about because I was
for
like,
sure.
oh wow, like I forgot about this or
Yeah,
like, this happened or you know what I mean? So like,
Same. There's plenty of stuff like, yeah, I remember that. They're like, oh wait, that happened.
yeah, yep. So Anyway, let's do the details.
Pardon me. So Age of Ultron, or the Avengers Age of Ultron, came out in 2015, so probably about 7 years ago. No, it's not probably. It is 7 years ago. Sorry, I don't know why I said it that way. It's directed and written by Joss Whedon. Stan
Which he
Lee is
did the last one.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he did
Okay.
the previous Avengers. He did a couple other ones too, didn't he?
I don't think he did. I
I
thought
think
he
he's
only
only
did
done
this one.
these.
Oh, okay.
I'll look it up real quick while you talk.
Obviously, Stan Lee is credited as a writer, but it's all based on the shit that he wrote in the comics.
He's credited as the writer because it was his idea.
Right,
Along with
it always
Kirby
says like
and
Stan
all those
Lee
other
is
guys. credited
credited as like it's based on comics that he wrote. As far as Jesus Christ, all the details I usually give are way down at the bottom of this thing. So budget wise, it had a $250 million budget.
So far, that's got to be the most.
Wow.
Right,
The most. I
and
don't think anything else has had that much, right? What was the last Avengers?
Maybe the whole cast got a raise.
I feel like the last Avengers was like
I'll look it up real
200?
quick.
Yeah,
But,
I think it's a flat 200.
200
flat two.
million for the last one.
yeah, I want to say
Avengers, yeah.
opening weekend domestic wise, it made $191 million. So it almost made its money back just opening weekend.
Damn.
It grossed domestically, it grossed $459 million.
And this was 250 million.
$250 million.
So the last one was 220 million
220.
Oh, dope. Okay.
estimated.
So yeah, it made $460 million domestically gross, and then worldwide it made $1.4 billion.
I remember this being highly anticipated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because, yeah, the first Avengers went well. I mean, the movies were all doing well at this point. So,
Well, there was such a build up to everything that they were doing in this one. But yeah, it runs it's a 2.5 hour movie, which is, I can't remember what the first Avengers was. I think it was about the same,
Yeah.
roughly. So, I mean, these Avengers ones are definitely running longer, I think, than the standalones, but not by much.
and that makes sense.
Yeah. So realistically, it was a pretty big success.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say that this won't succeed if the first one did. Now,
No,
it's not
it-
always
that's what I
the
mean,
case.
highly
Yeah, it's
anticipated,
highly
like-
anticipated. But
And that's,
it's because if it wasn't the comic book movies, if we didn't already have this idea and we have all this entire world that we're building around,
Yeah.
then I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's a good question, yeah.
Yeah, I would probably question it then, but Marvel
For sure.
hasn't been fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
They
No,
haven't done any wrong.
They have figured out their formula and they're running with it. As much as DC has struggled with their formula, Marvel has it figured out and they've just gone with it.
And it's because it's studio. It's all studio right there.
Yeah.
Kevin. As soon as Kevin Feige took over, he's been nailing it.
Yeah.
But it's because of studios. DC, on the other hand, they have a huge, massive amount of problems with studio.
Yeah.
The studios taking control or doing this or whatever, and they'll never unify until actually maybe now, because what was it? They bought out or they sold. Somebody bought them. I don't
Oh
remember.
shit! DC got bought by somebody.
Yeah. Yep. I think or
Elon Musk.
no, he bought Twitter.
Twitter.
He bought
Yeah.
DC and Twitter.
Yep. But that's a whole other conversation. I don't remember the thing, but anyway, the point is that the studios
Bezos
have been
bought
interfering with the
space.
DC, which has been interfering with the creative process, and that's why. And you're not going to find this connectivity between all of them because of that, because of the fucking studios. So Marvel has been succeeding because they were like, hey, we're going to make sure all this connects.
Yeah.
They were like, nope, they're all going to be here. And what have they done now? This was what, almost 10 years? When was this?
2015, so 7 years ago.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It's not probably 7. It's
So
to the day.
almost
Maybe
10
7
years
years
Happy
ago.
birthday, Avengers.
The point is that 7 years later, and now what have they done? They've bought all the rights to all of it.
Yeah, they have.
So
all
they
the
have
IP
full
they want.
control
There's-
of everything. Just imagine if they did that way back when.
Oh, well, we wouldn't have the last few X-Men movies that fucking shut the
Oh
bed.
yeah, that's true. They might have been better.
Or the last Fantastic Four movie, which I still haven't seen, but the one
It's
with,
good
like,
for its own things, bad for all the other things that they deserves to be bad for.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been
It'll be
Fantastic Four. Let's put it that way.
It'll be interesting to see when they try to finally bring those into the MCU.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm super curious. So it's just right
Well,
around the corner.
Even the way they brought in the fast guy from
Quicksilver?
Quicksilver?
from X-Men and WandaVision was cool. So
Yeah,
whatever
and
they're
they-
gonna do is gonna be
For
fucking
sure.
awesome.
yeah,
probably.
whatever they're gonna do is they're gonna make it. They're
As
gonna
long as they can make
work.
it work right, yeah.
Because
They're gonna make it work.
watching Age of Ultron, this Quicksilver? Is that
Yeah.
Yep.
this version of?
And
they brought in the right. They made the right choice. This guy in Age of Ultron wouldn't have been the fun, crazy uncle in WandaVision that the other guy was.
It's two different. Yes, two different characters. I liked Aaron. Was Aaron Taylor Tom? No,
Yeah, he's the guy from Kick-Ass.
American Horror Story.
Well, no, that's the one in X-Men. That's the one that was But the guy who we see as Pedro in this one, he's going to be Craven. He's Craven.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's Aaron Taylor
Johnson. He was the guy in Kick-Ass.
Yep.
Okay.
The main character from Kick-Ass.
Yep. And so I liked him as this, but now he's going to be Craven. So he's getting an opportunity to play two Marvel characters.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's pretty impressive.
And I feel like, a side note, I feel like he, without Magneto being a prominent piece of their history, he plays Quicksilver more to the comics than the other version. The other, Quicksilver in the comics isn't a quirky, goofy kind of guy. He's a very serious man.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, but you're also I mean, that's the one issue that I saw how trying to bridge the gap between the two.
Yeah.
But I know they're figuring it out.
Yeah,
and they've kind of already figured it out with the WandaVision, but I'm sure they're gonna nail the X-Men introduction solid.
That'll be
we
super
already
interesting.
have it in some of the
And there's
stuff
talk of Multiverse of Madness having the Illuminati, which has Professor X in it.
Yep. So that's what I was getting at. Yeah. There's
sorry, I didn't mean to spoil anything.
Isn't he in the fucking trailer?
the
Patrick
voice.
Stewart?
We don't get to see but a silhouette, if I believe.
Yeah, we get
hear
to see
his
his
Is it
voice.
Patrick Stewart or
And
the McAvoy?
Nope,
guy?
Patrick Stewart.
Okay.
Yep. So
Word. All
I
right.
don't know.
I don't know. This is what I get giddy about. This is why I love these movies because I just can't.
This
I
is the
can't get
fun
enough.
part of teasers for guys like us because we like, sit there and just pull pins out.
Yep.
What
And
about
then
this one?
Oh, wait, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? What are they? It's
They
little
could do
kid.
this. I wonder if they will.
It's like kid with a fucking nickel in the 1920s in a candy shop going, what am I gonna buy? What can I buy? What? Look at all this. Like,
I got 5 options. Oh, good old penny candy days.
hitting it real. I just explained to him why we use the term the slang of money is bread, and he's like, wow. It's like, I guess when we say it, it's not that good.
Yeah.
You'll have to explain that one to me later because I don't even know what to talk about.
It's because you say, I need to go make that bread, right? It's a slang that people
Well, no,
use.
I get the slang term. I
Because
just don't know the origin.
literally what they're doing is they have to go work just to make just enough money so they can buy some food, and bread is the most. So literally, that's all. It is. Gotta go make that
was
bread.
So yeah,
terribly
people,
anticlimactic.
Oh yeah, there's nothing special. I talked to him about that, and he's like, "Oh my goodness!" So people say, "Oh, they hype it up or whatever." And
yeah, rappers are gonna make that bread.
Oh yeah.
But it's really like a sad, like
maybe
part
want to
of
make
history. Like
really tell them maybe want to make more than that.
yeah, that's the whole point. Yep. Anyway,
Shoot for the moon.
all right, so that was all we had for the
Yeah, details.
details. So, did you like it, gentlemen?
Fuck yeah.
yeah.
Did you like it better than the first Avengers? Because at this point, you can literally say this is Avengers 1 and Avengers 2. Because I think you said that you liked the Avengers movies the most out of one.
Yeah, I
the
like
first one that we
I like
talked about.
the dynamics between them. I will say I'm torn because I liked certain aspects of this movie more than I liked the original Avengers.
Okay.
But they're overall,
It's kind of the same.
I would probably say, I mean, yeah, it really is. It's really the dynamics are the same.
Because they're still just a team that don't know how to work together or communicate.
Yes and no. They've stepped it up a little bit.
A little bit, but
Yeah, they're about halfway there because the two that fucking nail the teamwork in this entire film is Captain America and Thor. Those two are on point. They're in sync. They've like got fucking special moves figured out and things like that. Like they are in sync. They're like looking eye to eye on things. Like those two have figured out, but yet it's Tony and Bruce for the most part.
Yeah.
Are looking pretty close, but even then, it's just Tony's isolating himself too much.
Tony.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you go.
You go.
I find that I find that this is my problem with Iron Man, I guess, in the whole scheme of things, because it always seems to be Tony taking charge, like saying, I'm going to fix this, or I'm going to do something to fix this. And then he fucks it up. And it seems to constantly be, he's got to be cleaning up his own mess.
Yeah.
And I think I know what you, he's like, only I can come up with the solution to save the world. He doesn't bother communicating with anybody.
Exactly. And that's brought to light more in this one, but like it's over every Iron Man iteration. It's always, I'm going to do this because it's what's best. Oh, I fucked up. I guess I got to fix it.
Now, why do you think that is? Do you think it's like for the character? Let's just dive into the character a little bit. We've already established in the first 3 films that there's a development that we see from Iron Man being, Tony Stark being Tony Stark, the playboy, to being Iron Man, to then reinventing himself from Iron Man to Tony Stark again in the 3rd film. So why do you think that is? Why is it that we're seeing this?
He's scared.
I think it's the classic, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. He's always thinking he knows.
I think it's fed off of fear. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fed off of fear. It's like, I know, like, I see what I've seen. I know what's best. No one else can really understand what I've seen. So I've got to do stuff. But that's...
Yeah, you remember when he flew a nuke into space, Anybody remember that?
But and that's constantly being fed back like, oh, I did this on my own. I shouldn't have. Now I need help. Like, and he refuses to learn from that concept.
Yeah, and that is just the lamest part of the Tony Stark these movies.
And it's probably because he's not learning because of his. He is not terrified of people coming or aliens coming and destroying.
Terrestrial stuff doesn't bother him. It's the celestial, like the stuff he can't control.
What it is, it's not even that. He's afraid because he's only human. Yeah. He's not afraid when he's in the suit as much as he is without the suit. The suit, so there's not a difference. And that's something that we were learning through the individual films. He's afraid because he's human.
Yeah, he knows his limitations.
Everybody else has something other than the suit. So he has to basically one up everybody with some kind of power or some kind of ability or something like that because he's only human. But what he does have is he has his brain, he has money, and those influences basically rule the world. Yeah. So it's I think that's kind of what it comes down to.
What's said about Iron Man and Batman. Money is the greatest superpower.
Yeah. Yeah, because you take all those away, what do they got? Nothing. Nothing.
It's true.
And I mean, even if through that, and Iron Man was like, oh, you take your suit away, what are you?
Billionaires, like genius billionaire philanthropist.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But it's true. Like, that's all he is. But what happens if you take all that away?
Yeah.
What does he got then?
It's just a dude.
He's just a dude. Everybody else still has their shit. You know what I mean? So.
Do you like this one better than the first Avengers?
I think I do. Okay. I think I do. And it's the first Avengers had its moments for sure. I mean, both of them are. I agree with what you guys are saying. It's really tough to say yes or no. Mm-hmm. But after rewatching this, there are so many things.
The stakes are much higher somehow in this movie.
Well, they flushed a lot of the issues out that they weren't aware of before. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the writing on this one was very superb. It was almost flawless. Like, it's really hard to find those holes, but you could find a couple holes in the other one. Mm-hmm. The way that the characters are, we've already had a development, so the characters are more rounded out. We have more of an understanding. They've come together, but you still have that conflict.
I could be wrong. I'd have to look it up, and I just don't have the willpower to do it right now. But I feel like, was Joss Whedon brought in secondary to someone else that was supposed to do the original Avengers?
I don't know.
Because I think that might be the difference. Like, because I feel like somebody else was doing the Avengers and then they weren't anymore. And I think Joss Whedon was.
Well, they did that with the Justice League.
But I feel like
he came in the Justice League.
That's why they call him in on the Justice League, because he's already done that before.
Oh, maybe it's the Justice.
I don't know.
Yeah, because Zack Snyder had to leave because his daughter committed suicide, so he had to step away from the project.
Well, and that's why I thought.
But it was already all filmed.
Yeah, I thought maybe that was just the big difference between the original Avengers versus this. Is like Joss was on board
from the
jump versus like being brought in secondhand.
Yeah, I don't know
and
about
he had
that.
to work with that.
I don't know about that. That would be something to look into.
I feel like I read that somewhere. I could be wrong.
It does sound familiar the more you say it. And that's why they called him right away for Justice League, I think, because he already had that experience to come in and fix a big blockbuster movie, you know?
Yeah.
And
but that could totally be why the writing improved so much from the first Avengers. Is like he had the chance to do it from scratch.
Well, and you got to write for James Spader. That guy talks like fucking.
Yeah.
You can't put shit words in that dude. Well, you probably could, and you still make it sound amazing.
Spader made that whole movie, honestly speaking. Like,
now, I was not a fan of Ultron as the robotic side of things. The way that I thought it looked fine, like animation and stuff. I just don't care. Like, I don't care about.
Visually, I gave a fuck about him.
But if it wasn't for James Spader voicing Ultron, I probably would not care at
all. Exactly what I. Yeah.
But yeah, James Spader, his cadence, the way that he talks, just the way that he does, it's James Spader.
Yeah,
and he's that's why I love Boston Legal so much.
Yeah,
it's
Boston
just
Legal.
because of James Spader.
The Blacklist.
Yeah, and the Blacklist. Like, it's just because of James Spader. It's the way he talks, the way he does things, and this is that perfect example of like this.
His monologues in this movie are phenomenal.
Yeah,
like especially that first introduction to the like after the party when he kind of is like stumbling out in that weird robot body and like is just talking to him. Like that whole bit was dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
And he's sinister and insidious, like without having to be that imposing.
You know,
because he's still learning and figuring everything out.
Yeah.
Something about
as he talks.
And something about that introduction though, you immediately, without even the like a couple minutes before then where you hear the discussion between him and Jarvis.
Yeah.
Without even hearing that, you immediately know that he's the bad guy because it's a horror concept.
Yeah.
The way that introduction was, him like a zombie,
he's like leaking
basically.
fluid and
yeah,
stuff.
it's like a goddamn, it's a zombie of a fucking robot.
Yeah.
That's fucking horror right there. Like, it just showed like, this is the bad guy. You know it right away.
Yep.
And then you hear everything he has to say, and it's like, oh yeah.
And he's another one that like basically takes. I think in D&D terms, he's probably lawful evil, because he takes the concept of what Tony wants and then just cranks it up too far. Because he basically he wants the world to be at peace, and he sees the only way to stop war and everything is to just eradicate what's causing it.
Yeah, I could say that. I could see that, but he has a very similar outlook as Thanos.
Sure. Yeah.
Except for Thanos calculates. His was a calculation, like a pure. This is just math.
This is how to make it work.
Yep. And
Thanos has experience.
Yeah,
and Ultron was just born, so he was
born.
Ultron
just said, "We'll just mix it all up."
And Ultron is taking it from like information.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
so
has no,
it's fake news.
Right. It's the same concept as like in The Fifth Element when she's watching all the screen footage and she starts all of a sudden she gets into war and death and all of a sudden it just breaks her. It's the same shit that happened to him, but like he had no moral compass to begin with.
Yep. Yeah, because he had to obtain everything from all the information in the world that we had. So otherwise he didn't know what was going on. So.
And he had that and like Tony's protocols to like to dive off of.
Yeah, because he even started to run with that joke about him, Tony being his dad.
Okay. Well, and they said that like, you
that
sound
joke.
just like Tony Stark. Right? Like, don't ever compare me to him. I feel kind of like Ultron's origins are kind of the same as like an iRobot a little bit.
I agree with you, actually. I had a very similar.
I never read the book, but I remember the movie and I remember the directives and like it feels a little bit like that.
Yeah, I can see that. It's basically you're looking at it's AI. That's the issue that we have. AI. It's a artificial consciousness.
Yep.
So if it's artificial, which means it's created, it's not natural. How can it have the natural ingredients like intuition and
brings to
gut feeling and all that stuff?
Brings forth the concept of soul.
Yep. So how do they know what's right? But if you look at human nature, nothing that we do seems to be the right move either. So
right.
I don't know. It was for the most part, overall, it was a very profound evil character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I especially love the short conversation he and Vision have at the end.
Oh God, yeah. Just that quick.
That like, and that few moments where Vision just goes, "There's grace in their follies."
Yeah, yep.
Like-
like oh, they're all doomed. It's like,
He's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, I was born yesterday.
right. He's like, you are so unbearably
So-
naive.
let's talk about some characters. So we have some new introductions
For sure.
to this team of Avengers. So who's the original cast that we have right
We
away?
have Chris Evans
Well,
playing.
let's talk about the characters. Let's
Oh,
do
okay.
let's do more
Sorry.
of the characters.
Yeah. So we have Captain America, Black Widow, Iron Man, Hulk, Hawkeye,
Thor.
Thor. How did I forget Thor?
Fuck. Thor. Because
Maybe we need to watch the teaser one more time.
Yeah.
So those are the original
Thor.
6 that are on the team.
Then we have
Maria Hill comes back as an actual character.
which is Kobe Smolder.
Okay,
Yep,
yeah, I
her
was gonna say
character.
the Shield
Yep.
people, Nick Fury.
Yeah,
that
they give
lady.
her an actual name this time.
Yeah.
like true, like she's really identified as who she is.
You're
Yeah,
off
she's
probation now. You get a name.
Yeah.
You'll see in the next films.
Wasn't her name in the other one? She was always called Maria.
I
Hill,
think
wasn't
it was Hill. I think they used her last name.
Oh, okay.
But now we actually know that she has a full name. That she's not just an agent of
yeah,
Shield.
well, she's working. Well, she's
working
working
now
for
for
Stark
yeah,
Industries
for
because that's
Stark.
what you see at the end of the Avengers. She's applying for a job at
Yep.
Stark Industries.
So, who are our new characters?
So the
Wanda.
the
Yep.
twins from the last cutscene in
So,
cutscene. Fuck, what cutscene was it?
Winter Soldier.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wanda and Pietro.
Yep.
Maximoff
Which is Quicksilver.
and Scarlet Witch.
Yep, Scarlet Witch. And then
We're introduced to Vision.
Vision, who's a main, like this was,
He's a mainstay character.
yeah,
from
like
the-
like not only is this an introduction, but this is like a prominent importance.
He's been an important character in the comics. Like I think he was even from the 80s, if not 90s. But
I don't-
he's been in the comics like a prominent Avengers character for a long time.
I don't know much about him in the comics for sure. Like I know I've
Me neither.
read a couple with him in them, but I don't know much about him.
He's always like, I mean, eventually, the WandaVision stuff becomes a big thing, but I mean, he's always been like a mainstay kind of character.
Yeah.
Like in the Avengers.
We do get a little bit of
Falcon.
Falcon.
Yep.
So
Oh, yeah.
Tiny bit towards the end.
just a little bit. So he makes a little bit of an appearance when they're reassembling their team.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens? What happens in this team?
Fuck. I feel like I got put on the spot.
They kind of they disbanded from the Avengers.
Oh yeah.
So this leads up to what's going to happen next. So basically, Tony Stark took a step back.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay,
oh,
you
yeah,
are
okay.
just going to the end. Okay.
Right
Okay.
now,
I was very
Yeah.
just doing like in the
I
beginning.
was like, are we really
I mean,
gonna fast forward? All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, Wanda's really fucked.
They're
up in the
all
beginning,
moving
but-
on.
They're all moving on basically, except for,
Captain
America
America,
and Black
Black Widow, and Hawkeye.
and they're the
Well,
ones that
Hawkeye even retires. He goes back to his
Does he
family.
go
he
home?
goes back home
Yeah.
now.
So he's always getting called back in.
yeah, he's
Well, he doesn't come back to anything until. Is he in Civil War?
I don't know. He's
I don't
always
remember.
popping in and out until.
we'll find out. It's coming up
Yeah,
soon.
yeah,
But
So,
yeah, they
anyway.
disbanded and.
It disbanded for a little bit. Now that plays a little bit later on.
Yeah.
In Civil War, so we're gonna get a
Right.
lot
We'll get into that
more
in
into
a
that
while,
later.
Yeah.
But you start this film with them as a team.
Yep.
Now the way they introduced this film was in
In a battle.
in a
they're
battle.
they're basically storming a castle.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They're
Nice.
storming a castle. Yep.
Yep. It's a callback to the cutscene from what did we just say? Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where you first see
you
the twins.
see Baron Strucker.
Yep.
I believe is his name. Yeah,
Yep.
Strucker.
Yep. You got it.
Who has the scepter from the Avengers. I don't know how the fuck he got that.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm trying to figure out because he's part of Hydra. That's the only thing I do know.
Yeah, and
How
like
the fuck did they get it?
like they had
So far, Hydra's had the scepter like twice or 3 times, and they can't hold on to the goddamn thing.
they had the Tesseract. How did they?
Oh
I
man,
mean,
it was
in the
Tesseract.
Avengers, Thor was making jokes like, "We gotta go get that again."
Yeah.
that's true.
It's like,
They
what
had-
the fuck?
They had the scepter. Now we have to go get it again.
That's right.
That was like probably the biggest laugh for me in this film. I don't know if the jokes
I
really worked. in
don't
this.
know. I did like Thor's joke when he was like talking to Bruce Banner, and And he's like, yeah. It's like, oh, Thor, tell him, what he did. It was so good. He's like, yes. It's like all the men that you've slain are screaming in hell. It's like, because of their aches and their bruises.
They're
and
torn deltoids.
Yeah, they're torn deltoids.
Because they're trying to calm Banner down because he didn't like being, he didn't think he was gonna have to be because
He thought he was killing people. Yeah,
Yeah, he was torn up over. He was like, it wasn't that bad. Thor, tell him. Oh, the gates of hell are littered with the corpses of his enemies or something like that.
So,
side note, did anybody else really just not care for this whole like romance between Bruce and Natasha?
Thanks for bringing that up. I was just thinking that too.
What
Oh my God.
All right, let's dive into that.
I
shit
forgot
fucking thing.
all about that upon rewatching, and I was like, oh, this is why I forgot, because I don't care.
same here.
So at the end of Avengers, when he's like, sorry, I got a little whatever. Like, she's like, no, we could use that right now. I just took that as acceptance of him being who he is. And you didn't have to make it into a romance thing. And then they did this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it fucking fell flat for me. And like at the end when he flies off and she's like, I just stop.
But she was all like, but she also like understood. I don't know. I did. Yeah, fuck that romance shit, but him flying off and making that choice was cool because he was so mad against himself for causing that destruction and being.
Because he said it.
Wanda fucked with his brain, right? And he just went wild.
And he said that. It's like, well, the world got to see the true Hulk.
Yeah. And
he got to see the true me is what I think he said, but he got to see the true Hulk.
No, I said I got to see the Hulk for real or something like that. But I thought what was interesting about that flight off is it shows a cohesion between Bruce and the Hulk themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they
They're
kind of
both in
agreed.
agreement.
They were in agreement on
Oh,
something.
yeah. Things
because
got out of control and he needs to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yep, because before there's just been the separation, and then later on, this is that point. I think you're right. This is the point from now on. We see that for a little bit.
They have an understanding
we
of
see
each
it in
other.
Thor
at least.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about that one.
Oh,
but,
my God, yes.
but
And that's probably why I like the scene, too. I'm like, yes, go fly to the fucking...
Yep, because
go
now
hang
we
out
know
with
what's
Jeff
going to happen,
Goldblum.
where he's going. After seeing what happens, now we know where he's going. It's like, fuck yeah.
Even seeing, speaking of future, Wanda and Vision, they first make eye contact. Ooh, that's when it all started.
Yep.
Love at first sight.
from the
Love at
bus.
first sight. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was very, very interesting. Like when he flies off, it's the first moment of cohesion between Bruce and Hulk. But Black Widow was just sort of. Ugh.
She, yeah. I mean, you were talking about her acting. I was Winter Soldier, like her shit falling flat there. Like she fell flat in this too.
So, to bring that up about the Wanda and Vision's look, I looked up often questions about this movie. What was with that look between Vision and Scarlet Witch? So
those are people that don't read the comics.
so like, yeah, it was.
But it was definitely, it was
there.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
And now
And we get to dive into it later on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we get to dive into it in the next couple films or so, but
Yeah, after the next one, it's the
especially in the beginning of Infinity Wars.
Civil War 2.
Well, I'm saying that at the beginning,
Oh, yeah.
they're already an item in Infinity.
Oh,
First
yeah.
Infinity.
Oh yeah, they're
So like they're an
they
item.
pretty
they're,
much
they're,
fell in love
they're,
during
yeah,
Civil War.
they're
I
like
believe.
Yeah, Civil War is
very
basically
because
them,
that's
like,
when she
courting.
gets captive, and then he like
So,
their pillow talk.
The the thing about that relationship between Bruce Banner and Natasha is it's extremely out of character.
Yeah. Well, because Bruce has always been in love with Betty Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's always been the love interest in the comics, as far as I remember.
He even makes a comment about that. I think he says that to Captain America or whatever, or something like that. When they're at the bar and that first flirting thing goes on, and then Captain's like, I've seen her flirt firsthand. It's like, trust me, like she's into you. He's like, what do you mean firsthand?
That's me, by the way. What do you mean firsthand?
Yeah. So, yeah, he's had a love interest before, but he just separates himself.
It's one of those moments where they just ignored previously set stuff.
Well, in fairness, we've already talked about how they just ignored all the other movies.
But I mean, they reference it, but they don't acknowledge it. It's not that they ignore.
It's like the bastard child.
Yeah. Last time I was in last time I was in New York, I kind of broke Harlem. What else did I want to talk about?
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the action.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the action compared to the first Avengers? There's a lot of action.
There is.
Large scale. It's big.
I feel like it's almost understated though, because they're not fighting giant creatures like they were in Avengers, or in the original Avengers. Like they're just fighting soldiers and other robots that are human sized. So there's a lot of action, but it's understated comparatively. And yet there's still a massive amount. Yeah.
So I was looking at that because it was one of the first things I realized was this is a nonstop action ride compared to the first one.
Yeah.
This is nonstop from the get-go to the end. It's basically just nonstop action.
Yeah.
But the difference between the first one to this one and all the destruction that you see and stuff is that
it's very up close comparatively.
Well, yeah, in this one they're it's right there, but they also fuck multiple places up.
Yeah.
Where are they? Where are they located?
Sokovia.
Sokovia, it was basically won't exist anymore after this film, and they used that for the other film, for the future film. So they
for sure.
There's reasoning for this, and they even made a comment about this. It was like, oh, are they going to drop another city in the sky or something like that out of the sky? Yeah. So what are they going to do? Oh, it was in the next. Never mind. Talk about that later.
Spoilers. This movie's only 7 years old.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
The action. The action is large scale. It's epic, but they seem to have these conversations throughout every single battle. So maybe that's why it's underplayed for you. Maybe.
And it's
what kind of conversations? You think it's
a lot
teamwork?
More back and forth between Captain America and
all
Thor,
kinds of
Iron Man and Hawkeye and shit that. There's just a lot of back and forth.
So more teamwork.
Yeah.
Oh yes, in that regard, yes. They know how to multitask. That rip robots' heads off and make jokes and follow through, talk about the plans.
Yeah. And out of this one, I feel like this is the one where Captain America gets those sly, quirky, but yet kind of funny, slightly funny one-liners.
Mm-hmm. Language.
In the beginning, the very beginning,
the fact that he just said language.
Yeah, it's like shit. Hey, language. Watch your language.
Shit is the first word in this movie.
Yep. And what do we hear? It's like, oh, watch your language.
That's a running joke that I think is hilarious throughout the whole thing. Especially that's not going to go away for years.
Right.
Did you guys notice that they used the same Avengers pose as they did in the first one? The 360.
Oh yeah.
Progression.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I didn't realize it was the same pose.
Well, not really the same pose, but it's the same style.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that
of
part.
Them fighting, and it's a 360 rotation where you get each individual.
Yeah. And then they all come together when they jump that barrier. And
in the beginning of you get them coming in all at once doing their pose. Yeah. But
he's talking about when they're fighting around the core. At the end, you get the 360,
which is the same as they did. They're preparing themselves.
Yeah.
For the battle in the first Avengers. And this one, they're actually in the midst of fighting when you get the 360. So you get to see them do their special
stuff. Hawkeye pulling his bow.
Did you count the arrows in this one?
No. I couldn't. I did at one point though when he's prepping for it and he opens the closet, it's just got rows of arrowheads. I was like, you fucking asshole.
It's like the chain of ammo and a machine gun. You know what I mean? That's what I thought.
The artillery gun
is everything.
But yeah, he's just got rows and rows of arrowheads. You fucking dick.
Yep. A Rambo amount of arrows.
I want to talk about Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, you get to meet his wife.
What about Hawkeye in this? Why was Hawkeye seem so important?
He's the.
They make a comment about this too, but
well, it's his common. The common thing that his wife says. She's like, do you think that they're? He says oh, you think they can't do it without me? He's like, she says, no, I think they need you, and that's the scarier part, because these guys are super soldiers, super geniuses, gods, and all this
And he's
but
just
they
an
need, and you're just a
assassin.
guy.
Yeah, he's
Like
just
you've
an
got a bow
assassin.
and arrow, like, but they need you to somehow make them the team. So he becomes like the human part of the team.
Yeah, I agree. Like he's the glue. Unfortunately, he is the glue. You have all these pieces that may be extraordinary together, but once they're, once you have that glue and they come together, it's like a masterpiece.
And what really does it is learning that he has a family.
Yeah.
He's got a family that he never told
And that's
anyone
when
about.
they, like Tony Stark realizes, like, this guy has a lot of the shit figured out more than any of us, probably.
Well, I like when he walks in the door. It's like, special agents.
She must be another agent.
Yeah.
Those must be smaller special
Tiny little
agents.
So
But yeah, I think that is what does it. Like what realistically glues them together is they see the humanity as part of the team, and they're able to like. They've still got their issues. Like obviously, Captain America and Iron Man have their fucking discussion after that, which.
this is the beginning of them butting heads. I mean, they butted heads before, but like that's the issue. Is we had a discussion about the other Avengers. So two big heads. Like as much as you want to look at
It's
Captain
alphas
America,
with two different viewpoints.
Yeah. They're both trying to take lead.
Yeah.
Yep. You can't have both of
One
them.
does it because he feels like he knows what's best. The other one does it because he feels like he should.
Yep. You can't have two chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's why one's a sous chef.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark wants to be the leader, but he doesn't want to take responsibility.
Exactly.
That's
he
the
does
issue.
what he thinks is best without consulting anyone.
Another reason he makes me mad. You didn't even want to be in this goddamn team, and now you want to be a leader. Sorry.
Yeah.
He just wants, like what I'm saying, really. He
Yeah.
wants to make all the decisions, say, this is my way, let's do it this way.
Yeah.
If something fucks up, it's that guy's problem.
Something gets fucked up. It's like, you help me fix it.
Yep. And you see that with the whole Vision or the Ultron. You see that with the Ultron with him and Bruce Banner, and even Bruce is like when he's laughing and Thor's like, "You think this is funny?" And it's like, "Is it? Isn't it?" And it's like, "Oh, you want to know the truth?" And then Bruce is like, "I don't know if this is the time to do it." Okay, he's gonna do it, and he backs out. He rolled over and showed his belly, like he said, or something like that.
I think the profound point is when Wanda and Pietro switch sides in the train.
Yeah.
And then you have that moment where like, oh, the cradle is on the way to Tony. He'll take care of it. Like, no, he wants to make things right so badly that he's going to make another mistake.
Yeah.
And it's not until Thor intervenes that becomes a different thing altogether. But like, that's exactly what Tony does.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't learn from his mistakes. He just goes, oh, I have a better way to do it. I can fix it this way.
Yeah, it's not about learning from his mistakes. It's
about finding the miscalculation and fixing that problem.
Yeah,
he's a tinker.
Yep. And he's like, no, I can make this better.
Yeah. He's a mechanic or a tinker and a mechanic.
Well, the point is he doesn't learn from his mistakes, looking at them as mistakes. He looks at them as, trials.
He's got the Thomas Edison thing. Like I made the light bulb 100 times before it worked. So I didn't fail, 99 times. I just found 99 ways to not make a light bulb.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Which is, it's perfect for that kind of business, for being an engineer, for being a whatever.
Right.
But as somebody who's trying
to save the world.
Yeah.
It doesn't
team
work.
and you need more gumption, more guts and glory than or more guts.
He's
than
proven
glory.
that he's brave and can make those calls. Like he does that in the Avengers, but like he's still very much.
But he doesn't want to take the responsibility.
He's
Exactly.
not a leader,
Yeah, he's not a leader. Nobody's following him. They're all following Captain America.
Well, he even makes
And
that
that's the other
joke. Like he's like, oh, he's the leader. I just pay for everything.
Yep. Make everything and design everything.
Yeah.
Make everything work.
He's still very much that like look at me sort of personality. Like, and that's why like I think part of that is why his fear is so profound, is because he wants everyone to look at him, but he doesn't want to seem weak. So he does all these things to fix everything.
Dehumanizing. Yeah, business fear. Yep.
Yeah.
We got. This was a very heavy, almost existential kind of concept of a film, and it dealt dealt a little less with like the existentialism of humans, and it's more about something else, and that we get that sense with Ultron because that's his whole point is humans are wasting their life. What's the
Ultron
point?
is one large existential crisis.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, I need to save everybody from themselves by eradicating them, and then they don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
Or even better yet, he makes that comment, it's like, oh, I'll do this. I'll blow up the world, and whoever survives, good for you.
Yeah. Humanity will have multiple chances to evolve.
Yep.
And you go, oh, what if no one does? Like, well, he just kind of like leaves it hanging.
Better. Yeah, you should have been better.
Yeah.
Well, what about Vision? First of all, how does Vision come to play? How is his introduction? How does he get introduced? What's the importance behind him? What was the reason why he's being built?
He's the solution, right? And that's what
he was supposed to be Ultron's final body. Like he's made out of vibranium and a couple of things. He has the Mind Stone, we find out, which is inside the scepter, which is why it's able to control people.
Yep. Which is what?
An Infinity Stone.
Yep. And this is which one? We were already introduced.
We've already had the Tesseract, the Ether.
Yep.
What it's called?
Yeah, the Ether. Yep, the red one.
The Power Stone. So it's I don't remember what the Tesseract and the Ether are, but they're Infinity Stones, and the Power Stone from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep. This is the 4th Infinity Stone that's introduced out of 6.
Yep. So we only have
Time and...
Yeah, Time is the Doctor Strange. What was the next one? What the fuck?
What's the last one?
That's what I couldn't remember.
Because the Tesseract is the...
Is it the one with where Black Widow dies? That place?
Yes, that's a soul stone.
Soul Stone, probably.
Soul Stone.
Yeah, because you have to sacrifice.
That's right. Yep.
I can't remember the first
that
two.
one's the toughest one to get.
Nice. Yeah. Yep.
I can't remember the fucking
he
first 2 Infinity Stones. Because there's the Power Stone, the Mind Stone, the Time Stone, the Soul Stone, the...
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'd have to look
them up. But yeah.
So the Mind Stone was in the scepter, which we knew all along. Hint, hint, hint. We just didn't know.
Right. It's like hinted at, but it's never really confirmed.
Yeah. But
the whole movie is hinting at the fact that it's a fucking Infinity Stone.
But it makes sense. As soon as you learned that this was an Infinity Stone, everything that happened.
And then it's called the Mind Stone. You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Mind control. What was Loki doing the entire
they
fucking time?
fucking do it to that doctor to get her to start working on it.
Dr. Helen,
Helen Cho,
who created the cocoon.
The cradle.
Yep.
Yeah. I think to reference the cradle of life.
Oh, it totally makes sense. And it's just to help regenerate.
It builds tissue.
Generate tissue. Yep. Because she made a joke about Hawkeye getting like laser beamed on his love handles that he wasn't using anyway, and
she tells Tony that your stuff is outdated. This is the future because she can rebuild flesh.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I would have been done in 20 minutes if we were back in Seoul.
To my place. Yeah,
in Seoul, Korea. Why would you want to go there? But
they probably had nothing better to do.
It'd only take like 10 minutes.
Rotten cabbage.
Rotten cabbage.
Making kimchi underneath the cradle.
Oh,
that might have been a bit racist.
Shit.
My bad. Let's move on.
The cradle,
don't take that out of context.
Yeah, the cradle was what was building the body for Ultron. So what happened at that point? Why didn't Ultron take over?
So what happens is they're already building the body, and it's a couple hours out, and she says, "Well, we can start uploading your consciousness into the body." So she hooks it up, and Wanda, I wasn't looking at the TV at the point, but like she somehow reads the mind of the new body because it's part flesh, part vibranium. It's like a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And she's able to see.
Well, it's like a living thing.
Yeah, it's like it's vibranium and flesh is like bonded together.
But the stone was already in there. As soon as the stone was in there, it
so
became this like living thing. So it's this entity. So she was able to read. She couldn't read off of Ultron because he's not real.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
so there was no mind.
Yeah. And Ultron essentially like his whole thing has been built off of the Mind Stone from the scepter. But so she's able to read what his thoughts really are and what his plans really are, and
it was only because he was hooked up to it.
Exactly.
Right.
Like
the consciousness
started to flow in, and then she was able to read it, and so she's able to see that he means to destroy everybody. And that wasn't what they signed up. They wanted to kill Tony because of their fucking backstory. And they, at that point, decide that they can't be part to that. Like, you know, you get that whole thing about like, oh, you know, humanity will have plenty of chances to evolve and, you know, whatever. And like, well, what if they don't? And that's where you get the, you know, that's what happens. So they leave, and that's when the Avengers show up, I think at that point, to like try and save Dr. Cho. But in the midst of that, Wanda actually breaks the Mind Stone's control over Dr. Cho.
Yeah.
And she basically pauses the upload, and that's when Ultron shoots her.
Yep. And so
she lives. I thought she died, but you see her at the end.
Yeah. So this is the point where we understand now that Wanda and like they just switch gears. They understand what the bigger picture, basically, what they're on the wrong side. This is what they signed up for, basically. Yeah. And we find out that they volunteered.
That's
for
a
the
really interesting
experiments.
conversation between Cap and, was it Maria or Natasha? It's one of those two.
I don't remember.
But he's like, oh yeah, like they talk about,
it was Maria. It was Maria Hill. Yep.
They're like, oh, they volunteered. He's like, oh yeah, why would someone volunteer to, you know, to let a German scientist experiment on them? And he's like, he's making a joke about himself. He's like, but we're not at war. He's like, they are.
Yeah. Yep. Big. I want to say slap in the face, but it was a big period.
Yeah, that was
the conversation.
That was a quote unquote mic drop.
Yep, mic drop in the conversation, because that's what happened to him. They were at war, so he did the same thing, and but the whole point about the Wanda and Pedro, Quicksilver, what changed? Like, not that was the reasoning for it, but how did they integrate themselves into becoming this team or joining this team?
It's when they're trying to steal the cradle, and then Captain America is fighting Ultron on a train. I believe.
I think it's a bus.
I think it was no. I think it's a rail.
Was it?
I
I think
was
it's a
thinking
rail.
train. What?
Or yeah, like a
train
rail or what train?
Rail.
But at one point, Ultron gets the upper hand, and that's when Wanda and Pietro both intervene. And then the train goes off the rails, and that's when like he looks at Pietro. He's like, there's like civilians in the way, and you see Pietro just fucking running ahead of the train, pulling people out of the way while Wanda tries to stop the train.
Yep. But that was it. And that's all it really took.
You know what I mean? It was a very we're doing this now type of switch or transaction.
There's the adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yep. So I mean, and he even says, he's like, Pietro's like winded. He's like, I just need a minute. He's like, I'm tempted not to give you one.
Yeah. And like, that's where I was going to say. They do this. This is what I mean by it's really well written. Not just the story, the dialogue on this hit the marks where it needed to hit. And this is one of those conversations. They have these little micro conversations throughout the film. Yeah. And all of those little micro conversations fill in everything that you need to do as it goes on. Yeah. So it helps complete the story. This is one of the few times I think that the lack of conversation and the right amount of conversation coexist so seamlessly.
And that whole spot is that whole bit where Wanda says, they're like, what about the cradle? He's like, it's on the way to Tony. Like, no, he wants to make things right so badly. He's gonna do something stupid. Yeah. And that's when you get to the point where they're starting to create Vision, and there's a fight scene that begins.
Now, Vision being born. Jason, do you remember?
Oh yeah. That shit was smooth as fuck. Wow. Him popping out of the Thor, the lightning popping out of the.
Why did Thor even intervene? Because he disappeared.
He disappeared. He says he needed some self-reflections going on after Wanda fucked with his brain.
He goes to see Stellar Skateboard.
Yeah,
he does. Yep.
Learned some new tricks, came back, and just made a decision, executive decision.
Yeah.
I wasn't completely sure what the lightning was for when he hits the cradle. Like,
somehow
I believe it was to jumpstart the creation.
Jumpstart it.
It didn't have enough power,
so
he needed.
Well, because Pietro
so
basically,
fast.
well, he runs through and pulls all the plugs.
Yeah.
Like while they're talking, he's like, "I'm sorry, what were you saying?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, just a quick little note. I love that you can't hear him coming.
Right.
Oh yeah. There's no sound.
Quicksilver has no sound. I don't know why. It's just like a smoke. Like just a.
It's a blur. It's just.
It's just this little. I don't know why, but I loved it. because it's so
Right.
eerie.
I
Yeah.
think
It's
that's
so
super cool, but there
uncomfortable.
should be a boom. If he's breaking the sound barrier, shouldn't there be a boom?
Part of his mutation, I guess.
I don't know.
I mean, why doesn't the Flash do it? He can.
It's
he
true.
can.
I guess, yeah.
but you would think
you're right.
He would
I
have
guess.
to. Like he has to force himself to make the boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
the push.
Superman too. Same thing with Superman. He can break the sound barrier when he does it, but it's like he has to do it
In such a way that like he hits the
where
sound
he
barrier
hits the sound
first.
barrier. So
Yeah.
I mean that's
Fair. I'll
that's-
give you that.
That's science that I know nothing
That
about.
was just a random question when you brought that up. I was like, but shouldn't you hear a boom?
He's also going really quickly in small little sections, so he's never going really long distance. I don't know.
Yeah.
My point is I just love that it's a blur, which is great, but it's just there's no sound.
yeah,
I thought
for
that
sure.
was such a subtle touch that I'm like, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, that's cool. And I'm just excited that you have a sound bar now.
Yes. Yes, I have a sound bar, and now I can listen to things really, really well.
You can enjoy the quiet even.
Except for people who can't talk.
Right? Fucking.
Fuck whispers, because as soon as there's a fucking someone dropping a pen,
It's
it blows out my fucking eardrums.
What are we referencing?
Just anything, really.
Oh, okay.
Movies
so
where
I-
you gotta change the volume.
Oh, yeah. I
decibel,
fucking hate
like
that.
the Batman. For the Batman.
whisper dialogue, and then
First
music
movie I
or
watched
action.
when I got the soundbar. My mom gave me the soundbar over the weekend, 2 weekends ago, whatever. Hooked it up, but I watched the Batman. I was like, oh, I'm excited. I'm gonna watch the Batman. It's like a perfect movie to break in the soundbar for. And then I couldn't hear anything that they were fucking saying
They were
in the movie, so I had to
Because the
turn
rain
that
was too
shit
fucking
up.
heavy.
But as soon as they started talking, someone would fucking open a door, and I had to turn that shit down.
So yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, Vision's appearance, I thought it was like when he pops out of the thing and they get into this like, are we gonna fight type of moment, and Captain America or some shit like,
Yep.
or somebody's
Thor
like,
says wait.
yeah, there it is,
Because he's
Something-
staring out the window.
Yeah,
Well, Vision
'Cause he
comes
sees
after
himself.
naked.
He
Yeah.
sees himself, right?
Yeah.
The reflection.
Well, he comes after Thor, and Thor like
Yeah.
judo
Yeah.
flips him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
into
do
the
all that
window,
shit.
yep.
It gets hot and heavy for a second. And then you just watch Vision
Well, actually,
kind of
wouldn't
just
it be
think
cool?
everything through real quick. And it was just really a beautiful scene.
even
Yeah, when-
apologizes.
yeah,
when he
he,
goes, like,
says,
I'm sorry for that.
he
I
says
wasn't
thank you
my
to Thor, I think,
whatever.
too.
That was like it's like he said something like that was unnerving or like that was confusing.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry. He's like, and he says thank you to Thor
yeah,
for like whatever he
giving
did.
him time to
For-
reflect.
Thank you for judo flipping me.
Basically. But why is he saying thank you to Thor? Like, what is it
Because-
about Thor?
Thor stopped everything and gave him time to reflect and stare at his reflection.
He also jump started the whole
Yeah,
process.
maybe
like,
that
But
too.
why
He
did
already
he
finished it.
jumpstart?
because of the Mind Stone. Like I think it was like, I think he was trying to save the Mind Stone and he talks about getting it on their side versus having it just free floating wherever.
He does talk about
He talks about the reasoning why.
He does go on a stone lesson.
Yeah, he pats Robert Downey Jr. or Iron Man, Tony Stark. I can't fucking think. Whatever his name is.
RDJ.
Yeah.
We're going with the.
He just says Tony Stark.
Mistake
He's like,
maker.
oh, it's a good job. Pats him on the back. But
That's after he hands him the hammer.
the whole reasoning for this was you mentioned it earlier. You started saying something, and then I think we ended up.
Yeah, that's what we do here.
Is it's called Banter Bros.
Yep.
Is the dream. He had a dream
Yes.
sequence, sort of. It was in his head, but he saw it as a dream. Now, anybody who knows anything about the Norse mythology is that the Northmen would take mushrooms and go on vision quests. They were highly into hallucinogens and stuff like that because they believed that those are the gods and the spirits and the things talking to them.
Epiphanies.
That's how they figured their shit out.
Yep.
Yep. That's what he was having.
Yeah.
So this was just his like it was like a forced hallucination. So he analyzed it.
Mm-hmm.
He was analyzing the shit out of it. So as soon as he got out of that dream where he's like, I gotta go find answers. What does he do? He finds Skeleton Skateboard and goes into a pool
Stellan Skarsgård for whoever doesn't understand that joke.
and finds a pool of water. And then what? He has this
He re-enters the dream, doesn't
yes. A mystery because we don't know how he's doing it,
Mhm.
other than it's fucking
he? Well, the
magic and
Stellan
science.
Skarsgård talks about the fact that like there's like lore to that pool.
Yeah, it's
It's supposed to be like a vision pool or whatever.
well, so Thor also says it's like the gateways of like the worlds. So it's like reflections of the worlds that kind of coexist in pockets. We kind of saw that in the Thor Dark World.
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar concept. So
Whatever,
you're
they
dealing
couldn't
with
have him
magic
eating
and stuff.
mushrooms, so they just put him in a pool
Right.
instead. But essentially the same shit.
Well, because he
Marvel wasn't
mentioned
owned by
water.
Disney at that point, but I'm
Yeah.
sure the talks were in the works at
Yeah,
that
he
point.
enough.
mentioned like the water spirits.
yeah.
So I have to accept him. So anyway, that was the whole point I'm getting at. Because he sees what in that vision?
Ragnarok?
No.
I don't know. The
He sees-
destruction
My
of
kid was
Asgard?
bugging me.
He sees all the Infinity Stones.
Oh, yeah.
That's the pinnacle point that all of that shit happens
Mm-hmm.
is because of Thor. Thor's the cause. He's the cause of why we get Vision, why he's on our side, why all of this shit happened was because he saw that he saw that in his dream, he saw that the Infinity Stones or something happened. There's something more to it.
Yeah.
And so we needed to he needed to say, I don't know, that's the best option. Have him on our side instead of the bad side. So
But yeah, the lesser of two evils, I guess, is the right way to look at it.
I think essentially. But when we meet Vision, who is it?
Jarvis.
And who's the actor?
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany, who was the voice of Jarvis from the get-go.
Which I guess Jarvis was the resurrection of his career. His career started to flag until he got cast as Jarvis.
Which I didn't know because
Me neither.
I've been a huge fan of Paul Bettany since I first saw A Knight's Tale. So
Yeah.
like I've been
I remember reading somewhere that was like he talked about the fact that Jarvis basically saved his career.
No, as
During
soon as-
WandaVision podcast interviews and shit like that.
Yeah. No, as soon as
it
he
was
got
a
the
big
call.
part of his story.
It wasn't even Jarvis. It was the fact that it was Vision.
Yeah.
He was just the voice of Jarvis, which, I know helped, but he was still a nobody. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, nobody knew that was Paul Bettany unless you know Paul Bettany or you saw the credits. But it wasn't until he was able to play Vision. So this was the movie that truly
resurrected his career.
career.
As it should be. He fucking, I don't know, his performance is so fucking good.
Yeah.
There's some
And his figuring and everything out, it's so believable.
there's something about Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Perfect character for it. But just like James Spader as the voice of Ultron, the way he says things, his cadence. It's we use that word a lot.
Well, it matters.
But
like
it
when you're
is-
acting, that's sort of like your cadence can matter.
And this is the one thing I will say about Marvel. I just stopped questioning who's gonna play who.
Yeah.
Because they fucking nail it.
For sure.
I won't ever question who they're gonna have play who. Ever.
Most definitely.
Again. I mean, I stopped. It took me a while. I wanted to resist it.
Yeah.
But after
obviously.
Thor, I was like, nope. He beefed up and he's perfect. He's
Right.
Thor now.
No,
look
yeah.
at
I
him.
mean, definitely between Vision and Ultron in this one, I think you definitely can go, okay, they figured it out.
Yeah. The conclusion of this whole entire movie is about what?
Well,
yeah.
Ultron basically, he gets mad essentially because, especially when he sees Vision, he's like, "Oh, you were supposed to be the last of me. Like they really have taken everything from me. Like this is him going for revenge as opposed to enacting his final plan, like his plan or whatever. Like this is him just having revenge.
Yeah, this is the villain's temper tantrum.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it
I
is.
said that. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
This is
He's temper tantrum.
this is why you're gonna lose.
and you can see that especially when Natasha's been taken prisoner. And that Ultron is talking about like you wounded me, like blah blah blah. It's talking like, but they say what doesn't kill me.
that part
and
is
then the
really
hand-
cool.
Yeah, the hand goes through the head, and like it's
Yeah,
a bigger
just-
version of Ultron. He's like, only makes me stronger.
Yeah.
And it's him basically going, I'm not done yet.
That's kind of my favorite scene in the.
It was his
this
way of saying
film.
he's upgraded.
That shit looked really cool, and the point was it matched the point.
Did anybody else like Andy Serkis?
As Ulysses Claw.
Yeah.
I thought he was great.
Which is funny because he's not. He later gets a claw kind of thing. This is the point where he becomes.
This is where
literal.
he loses his arm so he can get the claw. I thought his whole interaction with Wanda and Pietro was actually rather entertaining. When he's talking, he's like, "You're not here to do business because you're trying to intimidate me."
Yeah.
Like, and I don't do business with people that aren't the head of the table.
Oh.
Cuttlefish.
Yeah, cuttlefish.
What?
That's what I'm really afraid of.
Cuttlefish. Yeah, that was a great conversation.
I thought that whole thing was dope. Like it's a character that gets reintroduced later on that's more entertaining at that point, but like his interaction with them was very entertaining.
And what was this set up for?
The vibranium.
Oh,
Which is Wakanda, yeah.
Yep, because they even said it. Even Bruce Banner's like, where can we get more vibranium?
Wakanda?
Wakanda. Yeah. Yep. So like this was the introduction of Black Panther.
Yeah.
This is where our next step goes into the Black Panther. So
Because yeah, Black Panther shows up after this one.
yeah,
this next one.
no, next
He
phase.
shows up in Civil War.
Next phase.
Yeah, so he's after Ant-Man. Like isn't Civil War the next one after Ant-Man?
Yeah,
Yes.
So yeah,
So
so he
actually,
shows
I
up.
don't know. I don't remember.
it is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
so he shows up in Civil War. So he's got like one movie
And then he
before
gets his
we're
own
introduced to
movie.
Black Panther. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah.
But yeah, it's in
But
phase
this
three.
was the introduction. This is the first time that we actually hear anything. We heard vibranium before, but this is the first time we hear anything about where it comes from, what's going on. So this was them leading
How rare
into.
it is. Well, I guess you already.
Well, they talk about like they say, I thought your dad got all that out of there beforehand, like because I talking to Tony about like because that's who designed the shield.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is that we also get this understanding that Captain America still resents the shadiness that Tony Stark was his past.
Yeah, that
For
that
whatever,
mention of,
for
why he
whatever
knows him.
reason, Tony Stark is not trying to be who he used to be. He's trying to move on, but he keeps we keep making the same mistakes. Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
he just doesn't look at them as he looks at them as errors,
Right.
mistakes. And yet Captain America keeps basically like looking at him as he's his old
You're a
self.
Stark, just like your dad or
Yeah.
some shit. You make
He
terrible
sees-
decisions.
Yeah, but he sees everything that Tony that he finds out about Tony, like knowing Ulysses Claw or any of these other things. Like he sees in this new sins that Tony Stark has to atone for.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like
damn.
he's already judging him before he's done anything.
He's just adding more blood to Tony's hands, like without really like thinking it all the way through. And even Tony says like we have like, conventions, like because Ulysses is supposed to be like a black market arms
he's a
dealer.
black art.
He's like, we have conventions. I may have met him. I didn't sell him anything.
That's what he says. He's like, oh, there's conventions. We meet people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Tony or Captain America has always been that one that he doesn't see the gray shades as
No.
well as anybody else. He sees black and white much
It's
more
right or wrong.
profoundly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good or yeah.
Yeah. If you've chosen this, then you would have, you must have known that this would have been bad. So you chose to do it anyway, which makes you bad. And that's very true. And that's why they butt heads. Tony Stark lives in nothing but gray.
Yeah.
A very, very dark shade of gray.
Very much so.
But-
And Captain America only
As
sees
a
black and
inventor,
white.
that makes sense.
Totally. It's art versus,
It's science versus it's a science versus morality sort of situation. Like science is always like in that gray area because like you have to be willing to like do certain things that aren't necessarily everyone's cup of tea to really understand certain things or like to get that to that point. And that's where Tony lives versus Captain America lives in that gray shade or that black and white stage where it's like right or wrong.
Yep.
You don't get in between.
And we got a sense of that when in the last Avengers when Captain tried to come up and comfort him and say, "Oh, is this your first time losing a soldier?"
Oh,
He says,
yeah.
I'm not a soldier.
Yeah.
So you get that same kind of understanding. Like these two are not on the same page, and they haven't been on the same page.
I know it bothers me a little bit because it's kind of a stupid fucking conflict. 'Cause they can't sit down and talk about their shit. But it has to happen, I guess.
But if you
what was the whole freaking like mantra that Captain was trying to say?
we're a team, like we do this
Oh,
together.
We'll
like,
fail together.
yeah. What if we fail? Then we do that together.
Yep.
Like
Stupid.
it's
Now
stupid, but it's
that's
a noble.
who he is,
It's
yeah.
a noble
Now-
sort of concept at the same time.
that's his mantra. He was saying it how many times in this fucking film that we're a team, we do it together, we'll fail together, whatever. What was the end credit scene?
Oh, it's when he and Black Widow go to train the new. Wait, end credits. No, that's Thanos picking up the.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. Okay, I've watched both movies today, so I'm getting them confused.
What? It is Thanos, isn't it?
No,
Fine, I'll do
that's
it myself.
Oh yeah. Actually, that is.
God damn it.
Now I'm blending them together.
Well, you tell me what you were thinking, because I'm not with you.
We'll wait.
Okay.
We'll move
Well,
on.
it can't be the end credit to Ant-Man because I know that one too.
What was that
Fuck,
one?
That's when he gives
There wasn't one.
Janet the fucking wasp suit.
Oh nope, then it is this one. It is this
It's
one.
literally
So it's when
Thanos
it's when
walking in and
Falcon. It's when Falcon and Captain America find Barnes. They find
The end credit to Age of Ultron is Thanos walking in and getting the gauntlet saying, fine, I'll do it myself.
This is like the very end of the movie. This has to be this one where it's the Winter Soldier basically is Bucky is trapped in this like vice grip thing, this giant massive vice grip, and Falcon and Captain have like pinned him there, and basically he says, "Oh, it'd be better if we had somebody." It's like, nope, we got to do this on our own, and that's the beginning of that's where the Civil War starts. Like that's the whole conflict of Civil War. So that's why I was bringing it up is he kept saying we got to do this together, but then at the end of this one, he goes against what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So how
I missed that entirely.
Yeah.
must have.
I remember it, but I don't remember.
I don't remember it at all.
I don't remember seeing it.
Because I remember at the end of the movie of this one, Sam and Captain America walking. He's like, I would have called you if I had known we were gonna get into like a firefight. He's like, I'm perfectly okay running down cold leads on our missing friend, like our missing person or whatever. And that was the last I remember them mentioning the Winter Soldier. And then like the mid-credit scene is like Thanos taking the gauntlet.
Yeah,
like,
that is
so
where
I missed that there was one at the very end.
Or they got somewhere in that point. The point is that that was the whole point. It was that clip is Captain contradicting himself.
Yeah.
Basically saying, "Oh, we're gonna do this as a team," but then when Sam, they have Bucky there, and
They're keeping secrets from the
they
team.
keep the secrets from the team, and yet what the fuck was Captain America saying through the entire goddamn film?
The only
Keeping
thing,
secrets from us. You're doing things on your own.
the
You
only
shouldn't be
thing
doing
I
that.
would,
We're a team.
The
We
only
could've
thing I
saved
would
you,
say
helped.
in the interest of playing devil's advocate,
We're not
Tony's-
talking about that movie.
it's a great movie. Tony's disinformation or
I thought he was going to break the bottle.
Tony's lack of talking to the team or disinformation like affected the world at large versus Cap's affects one person, quote unquote one person at this
Yeah.
point.
But
We'll
You
it
learn
could
is
later
break
that
down the reasons why and justify it for sure, but still.
and I'm just saying that was in the interest of playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's not,
Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
you're not wrong by any means. This one is more personal. The other one is a larger deal. Tony
Yeah.
Stark.
You're not wrong on the fact that he's contradicting
yeah,
himself.
Tony
but-
Stark will fuck up the world. Captain America is only fucking up his relationship.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Yeah,
But
he's
it
trying to
blows
fix
up
his-
into the world because of fucking Tony Stark.
Right.
So
Trying
we'll
to
get-
do what's
this is-
best for
I'm
everybody
starting to
without fucking talking to
Yeah,
anybody.
I'm starting to realize we're going on more of an Iron Man hate. Not even Iron Man. We're going on a Tony Stark hate spree. And the Avengers,
yeah,
the more and
'cause-
more and more and more shit that we go down the line, the more prominent he becomes. But yet, the more fucking shit that it's because of him.
He's more
Yeah.
prominent, yeah, because it's all because shit he starts.
God, I can't wait to talk about the Infinity Wars. I can't wait.
Tony
to
Stark's
mantra.
mantra should be, I know better than everyone else.
Yep. And then on his tombstone, it should be, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Save me.
Should just be, my bad.
My bad. Yep. So,
Whoops.
did you guys happen to like the introduction of Scarlet Witch, Vision, and Pedro, Quicksilver what happened to Quicksilver quickly?
Oh, yeah. He has sacrificial death.
Yeah.
That was actually a really,
Yeah. I
Poignant
forgot
scene.
how powerful it was.
well, and because there's that little banter between him and
Yeah.
Hawkeye, because he's constantly knocking Hawkeye over or doing shit,
Yep.
calling Hawkeye old, and like Hawkeye
Oh,
talks
you didn't see
shit.
that coming? Oh, you didn't see that coming?
Yeah, that's
You
the
didn't see
running
that
joke.
coming.
And
But
Hawkeye,
that shit, Hawkeye, when then he was like, nobody would
Nobody
see,
would
nobody would know.
know.
He just kind of talks to himself. I was laughing out loud at that part.
and there's that part where Hawkeye talks about like, oh, Ultron just fell on him. Like, I'll miss him. Like, and he's talking shit about him, and then like he dies. Like, basically, Hawkeye's trying to save a child, and like this one of the Ultron bots, which by the way, the Ultron
last
bots
child on the-
looked more like Ultron from the comics than Ultron did.
That's what I thought too.
Like it basically opens fire and Quicksilver sees it and pushes Hawkeye out of the way, but takes the bullets himself.
Yeah, by a
they're
puffer.
like 50 cal bullets.
Yeah,
too.
they're a puffer. Puffer from a helicopter or a jet or whatever.
He really should have been torn to shreds as
forgot
opposed to just having random bullet holes in him.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, he would. No, literally, his arm would have been.
Yeah.
There wouldn't have been much left of him.
large holes where they were. Where
I know.
they, instead of
This
like
is
That's why my memory was like, I think this guy just gets like shot with a gun. But
No, he gets shot multiple times.
never mind.
I-
He got gunned down.
I thought the same thing until I saw this. I'm like, no, wrong.
he looked like he got shot with a 9mm versus a 50 caliber.
He looked like he got shot like 50 Cent in the face
Yeah.
with all his whole body.
But then he makes that comment. He's like, bet you didn't see that coming. And then he falls over.
Hey, he would not be talking
See, yeah.
because he wouldn't have a fucking anything.
Yeah.
Because they didn't see that coming. The running joke kind of was like, all right, shut up at this point. It kept going on. And then that happened. And I was like, oh, my bad. I was wrong. that it was a powerful moment.
And
Yeah.
And
Well, and it leads up to the
and
fact
it was
that
nice. He's always following his sister's lead. Like, he's not like, they can't do anything.
he's always protective of his sister.
Yeah, so there's that, but he doesn't like make the decisions, it seems.
He always acts based on like instinct or like emotion. Like, and he, at that point, he saw a child in danger and like took the hit.
yeah.
And then you see that really, I think, cliche moment where like there's no sound but Wanda is screaming.
Yep.
I like that though, because I would rather have to watch them scream than hear them scream.
Yeah, it definitely it
'Cause
looks.
when they do the powerful cry scream, it never fucking works most
Well,
of the
not
time.
to mention this is
It's
her.
annoying.
It works because you see. It's
All
a
the-
visual thing, anyways.
her-
You see her
yeah.
her expressing her power out because
Yeah, for
she's
sure.
upset,
Yeah,
and she destroys like 10 of
because
those fuckers.
she's still like learning her strength.
yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't completely mastered her
So when
powers
she like
yet.
fucking freaks out, and then the whole fucking room just fucking
Yep.
gets destroyed. All the
I
enemies.
I liked it a lot, but I completely forgot about that too.
Yeah.
I hadn't forgotten that he died. I
no.
just forgot
You-
like
yeah.
About how he
the
died.
moment it
Oh,
is.
Yeah,
Yep.
I forgot how powerful it was.
Yep.
And then like the twin connection is probably why she screamed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I must say, I really liked Hawkeye the most in this.
Yeah,
He
I
definitely
really
plays
did.
a much more prominent part.
He
other
He
than-
does.
he convinced Wanda to become an Avenger. Like, hey, if you go outside and you start fighting, you're fucking.
That conversation.
You made your choice.
That was a really good conversation.
Was-
It
Wasn't
was
it?
the
Yeah.
most realistic. It was just the most in your face, like direct. There was no BS. There was no
He's like,
fluffing it.
If
There
you
was,
got to stay in
this
here,
is it.
stay in here. But if you go out there, you're an Avenger.
Yep.
Let's do this.
Yep. He's like, you know what? I got to go out there because that's my job. He does it, and like I think if he didn't do that, he didn't take that big breath and just kick the door and go out there and fuck shit up, she wouldn't have gone.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
it just
for sure.
shows
And-
he's leading by example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like fucking stakes or everything's stacked against him. Like he's on a flying city. He's
Yeah.
fighting robots. He has arrows. He's
Yeah.
just- he's
Even
making
Natasha
jokes.
makes a joke about
He's-
that. It's like,
yeah.
oh, are you on your way? It's like, not all of us can fly.
Yeah.
Oh no, Natasha makes that to Iron Man.
Well, yeah, but my
yeah.
point, that's what I'm saying. Like, she makes the joke about
Yeah.
not all of us can fly.
You on
There's
your
only
way?
two of them that can't do anything.
Right.
That can't go very fast. And that is
Natasha and Hawkeye.
and Hawkeye.
I like that we call Natasha just Natasha instead of Black Widow.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, she's the only one that they do not reference in any way her actual like
As Black
code
Widow?
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always just Natasha or Romanov.
Maybe that's why we're calling her
It might
Natasha.
be, but like everyone else, like at least in certain points, refer to him as Hawkeye or Iron Man or Thor or Captain America or Hulk. Like everyone else is referred to by their code names at least a few times in the movie. Natasha is almost never referenced as the Black Widow.
No.
That's true. I don't think I remember her being called Black Widow.
I don't.
Well, it's
I
Because
it's not her code name anymore. She's not a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. because she's
Yeah,
no longer a
it's
thing.
true.
So And she's trying to escape her
Her
past,
past.
which is what the Black Widow.
That's what I was gonna say. It's not really her. Well, it is her name, but
It's the assassin
It's
name.
how
It's the Red
how she
House.
grew up. Yeah,
The Red Room.
Red Room. That's
They're-
what Red
like her
Room.
The Red House is
Sister,
the
like-
local radio station.
All those ladies are Black Widow, right?
Yeah. Yep.
They're all those.
Oh,
it's an
yeah, yeah,
assassin.
So it's like a title. It's
So-
kind of like Vikings. Vikings, it's a title. It's
Their surname.
yeah. Well, it's a Scandinavian.
No, that would make her
warriors.
Natasha Black Widow.
So like yeah, it's like being called a Viking. It means you're a warrior. You have it's like a job or a
Status,
title.
yeah.
In this case, Black Widow, it's their
True enough.
assassin duties. So that makes sense. I'm glad we figured this out because I never thought of that. So
I never thought.
I just
about
happened to
that.
like just reference like in my mind. I was like, we never call her Black Widow.
how did you like the biggest kind of I guess running joke that they use, but like shocker at the party? The party
the
trick?
hammer.
The hammer? The party trick.
That I mean, obviously that comes back to play later on, but
Yep.
it's a super that I've seen like theories about why that happens that way. Like when, obviously they're all taking turns trying to move the hammer and Cap makes it budge just a little bit and
Yeah.
Thor's like, whoa,
Just look, yeah.
just a bit.
I love that because he's like,
He gets a little worried. Oh shit.
Like, wait a minute.
it's just straight, like he's smiling. Ooh, you get a little concerned.
I-
And then he couldn't do it. He's like,
I only liked the scene. It was a little fun. It was a little stupid, but it meant more when Vision grabbed the hammer and just carried it like a paperweight.
But why do you think he can carry it?
Oh,
Without
he's
getting
obviously
into
he's the ultimate. He's powerful. He's a good person or a good
Whosoever possesses the power of Thor, be he worthy, will wield this hammer. Like, so it shows that he
machine.
has.
Say that.
But it shows that he and I think this
He's
is part of
worthy.
it. He's worthy because he hasn't had a chance to
Oh,
He's
haven't
so-
he?
just
himself.
born.
So he's
He's literally
he's
just born. He hasn't
purity
been corrupted.
in and of itself.
Yeah, he hasn't been corrupted. He hasn't had any life to live to
Yeah.
judge his whatever.
Yeah.
He's as pure as you can possibly be for being artificial and have an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Because it has nothing to do with power. It has to do with,
The purity of your soul, like your nobility, like
and what does he have? He has a Mind Stone.
he's one of the Infinity Stones. So I mean, he's one of the ultimate. Like, he's not even a real like. It's hard to.
He's basically
they-
able to as a cosmic energy
Concept.
of everything. He's able to fathom any possibility
Mhm.
into what's right, wrong on a galactical scale kind of thing.
And he even says it. He's like, I am in favor of like whose side are you on? He's like, I'm on the side of life. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to kill Ultron, but
he needs to be destroyed.
he's in pain, and that pain will no doubt destroy the world. So he must be destroyed.
yes,
He is pure in so much that like he knows what needs to be done, and he doesn't.
for a greater cause.
He
for a
doesn't
greater good.
necessarily let morality jump into the
There's no emotions.
right.
He's not emotionally attached, so there's no judging, wavering off of his emotions. It's
Exactly.
pure.
Calculation.
Well, basically, that's why it's very similar to Thanos too.
Yeah.
He sees what will do
He's like-
the best for everyone, but his as opposed to Thanos, like it's not about it's how many can I save, versus I just need to wipe out this many people
Yeah.
to let everything be fine.
Yeah. To balance the
Yeah.
universe out. Yeah. I like the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly because of Thor.
Yeah.
But I also like the little quirkiness is that was kind of fun, in my opinion.
Like I say, that whole thing will come back to play in a couple movies, but
Yeah. I don't know. I like that, especially when Clint, because he was the first to go up. He's like, "Oh, what's with the hammer? Why can't anybody
keep
lift
saying
it
it's
up?"
a trick.
Yeah, he's like, it's a trick, whatever. And then he goes up, is like, I've seen this before, right? Is that reference to the first film?
Yeah.
Because he was up on the perch about to take him out.
Oh yeah.
So you kind of forget that Clint's been there since the third film.
Yeah.
Third film.
Yeah. No shit.
So
Yeah, Thor was after Iron Man 2, right?
Yeah. Yep. So it just shows you, I don't know. Just shows you the power of Thor too. It shows you everything. They really did an amazing job at putting things into perspective.
Mhm.
So this is what film is this now? Like the
Seventh or eighth, one of the two.
So like,
Because we've got what? Iron Man 1, 2, 3, Thor 1 and 2, Captain America 1 and 2, and the Avengers
and Guardians.
and Guardians. So that's 2, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 before this.
Oh my God, there's so many more. There's so much more.
Yeah,
Anyway, I liked it.
I did
like
too.
this movie.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm glad I rewatched it, and I think it really
As am I.
says something about what we said before about we're watching continuously now, because I forgot so much. But I did not remember liking this one as much when I first saw it. I thought it was good, as badass, whatever, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, me too. And I think it goes back to what Aaron said, like watching them with no longer having years apart between the movies
Right.
helps a ton.
yep, we're just seeing everything come, unfold instead of them creating it to
It's
come
like-
unfold.
Yeah.
It's like watching Tetris when you just watch those pieces fall into place. Tetris might be a terrible analogy. This is my third beer, so
Either way, the point is, it was good.
that was
Let's get
great.
on into our.
We've been talking about this for an hour.
Yeah.
So.
But it's a massive film. There's a lot.
It is. There was a lot to cover.
There's a lot to cover. So let's get into our April. So yeah, our April's theme. This is the last one for April. This is gonna be man versus self. So who wants to go? You know what? I want to go. Let me go.
Careful.
Let me go. Let's change it up.
All right.
So this was actually, I'm not gonna lie, this was a little bit tougher than I thought. For somebody who, has a bunch of films, has seen a bunch of films, I really struggled with this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really, maybe
I
'cause-
struggled way more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, that's I think what I'm getting at. Like
I feel like I had an easier time with this one. Why did I feel like
maybe
weird.
I think for me is I was overthinking it.
maybe?
I think that was my issue. That's what I do. I overthink things.
I mean, if I had been here for the last episode, I had plenty for man versus man, but even man versus self, I had it
Well,
was
man,
okay.
yeah.
So the first film, I'm gonna do this in order.
In order.
Of years.
Okay.
Of years. Sorry, I always go for years.
All right, that
Try
makes
to do
sense.
it the
Just in
oldest
order.
to newest. I don't know why. It just makes my OCD feel better. So I'm
Then
going.
I'll do it too.
Okay. I'm gonna do man. Okay. 1999. I have two films that are on my list for 1999. So I'll do this one anyway. Fight Club.
You want to look up the months?
Fight Club. I thought about it. I just did, and I thought about it.
Fight Club.
Fight Club,
That
that's
one.
dope. Yeah, yeah.
Fight
I
Club.
I get that.
considered that.
Yep. So I
It actually didn't cross my mind, but I like that.
yeah I've been a sucker for this film. I
Dope film.
recently read the book, and I like the film so much more than the book.
Chuck Palahniuk.
Yep.
Is that the name of the guy?
Yep. And don't get me wrong, the book's okay, but the film's way more entertaining. book.
Conceptually, it seems like a film that would, or it seems like something that would lean better into a film than it would a movie or a book.
I mean,
Just a thought.
the way it was done wasn't terrible. It was just, I don't know. I just like the film better. So the thing about the film is you have Brad Pitt
Thanks,
and you have
Aaron. I
Edward
feel
Norton.
so much better.
And I'm not a huge fan of either of them really,
Yeah.
but in this film they work so well, especially
Yeah,
Edward
for sure.
Norton
Yeah.
and especially Brad Pitt. Like they both work. Brad Pitt to me comes off as like it's like that Snatch feel, I think. You know
Yeah,
what I
except
mean?
you can
Because of
understand
the
what he's
fighting.
saying.
Yeah, except you can understand what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, real quick, Edward Norton or Brad Pitt? Who do you like better? In general, just
Is that a trick
curiosity.
question? Because they're the same person.
Yeah, I don't.
No, not in the movie. In general, as
Oh,
an actor,
as an
who do you like
actor?
better? I just curiosity more
Brad
than anything.
Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Yeah, I think
Really?
Brad Pitt has more movies I like than Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going off of movies,
I might be an Edward Norton fan more
I-
than I am a Brad Pitt guy.
I don't really think I like either of them as people. So, but I don't know. I don't know. That's not a good question.
It's not.
I was curious.
I don't
more
have
than
an
anything.
answer.
I'm sorry.
I don't care for either of them.
Don't apologize.
I just think
it was
that
a fine question. He just couldn't.
I think that Brad Pitt has more films that I've seen that I like him in. You know, I think that's really what.
But is it because of Brad Pitt or the people he was acting with?
Actually because of Brad Pitt? Like for example, Glorious Bastards. I love Brad Pitt in that as that role in Glorious Bastards. Like,
Okay.
I also really like him in Snatch. I really like him in this.
Love him.
I can't tell you a movie of Edward Norton's other than American History X that I really liked Edward Norton as that character.
Okay.
I'm just not a big fan. I don't think he's a terrible actor. I think that American History X is the only film that I go, he did a phenomenal job.
All right.
So,
Curious
anyway.
question more than anything. Sorry.
Yeah. So, Fight Club. If
He's
you're
had
not,
3 beers.
if you're not, if you're not familiar, it's about a guy who has insomnia, and basically he starts to hallucinate or not be able to sleep. He starts to get mental, just starts to lose his shit, and he starts to create this fight club, which is
his associative identity.
Yeah, it's this underground fight club where they just beat the shit out of each other, a way for them to gain a sense of masculinity and not have to be judged for it. First rule of Fight Club is
You don't talk about Fight Club.
and then I punch you in the face because you talked about Fight Club. That's how.
Don't
it
worry,
rolls.
I'll beep all this out.
So they have some interesting characters or some actors that play in this too, like Meatloaf.
Jared
and
Leto's
Jared
in it.
Leto. Yep, he plays the
Um,
Angel Face who gets the shit kicked out
Oh,
of
fuck,
him.
that's right.
Can't remember the guy. He's in Mindhunters too, but I can't remember that again. He's the guy that's like, oh, in Project Chaos, you in death you get a name.
Zach Grenier? I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about. So,
Or whatever. I'll look it up.
but was it Helena?
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yep, she's in it. So this movie is definitely an internal battle. He doesn't
it's
realize. Spoiler alert:
for
Brad
sure.
Pitt is fictitious. He's an imagination of Edward Norton's character. He's not real. So
Yeah, it's one of the
it's a
really-
persona. It's a identity.
You're a persona.
but it's a really good movie reveal moment.
It is.
Especially
It is.
for the 90s.
Yeah, and he is a terrorist.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
creates
a domestic terrorist. Yeah.
without even knowing it.
Soapy
He
bombs.
creates a terrorist organization without even knowing it.
Project Chaos.
And that's what makes this movie pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Off of soap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about soap. So I don't know. It is a very interesting film, and I've always kind of dug it. It's also
Oh.
pretty raw. It's pretty
The
raw
guy,
film.
the guy I was thinking of is Holt McElhenney.
I don't know who that is.
You'd know him if I showed him to you, but
Yeah, I don't know who that is. So yeah, my next film, 2003.
you said you had two in 1999.
1999.
I know I'm not gonna do the other one
God damn it. Tim.
Jesus.
because
Nope.
of that reason. Because they're both
Fucking
in
man versus
1999.
self. You just had
Yeah.
Identity.
Yep.
Oh, with John Cusack.
Yeah, oh,
and
Yeah.
fucking the list.
Yeah,
But primarily
yeah,
John
yeah.
Cusack, Ray Liotta,
Jake
Amanda
Busey.
Peet, John Hawkes, Alfred Malone.
Alfred Molina.
Thank you. I know.
There you go. You got it.
And
I've had 3 beers. Clea Duvall, John C. McGinley.
hell yeah.
Yeah, Jake Busey. Yeah, there's just a bunch of people in this one, and this is I've loved this movie since the first time I saw it. It's like a thriller mystery. I don't say horror, but it's more mystery
Thriller. for sure.
thriller. Yeah, for sure. But it's unique. It's very original, and it is a man versus himself when you learn the ending.
Yeah.
Because you basically learn that the guy from Constantine, that's the only other film I can think of right off the hand, is he's the preacher who has the eyes that shift, which is
Oh,
an
yeah,
actual
yeah, yeah, yeah.
disease
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
has, the actor has, when it drinks himself or whatever to death. He plays a guy who is in a psych ward, and what's his name?
Alfred Molina.
Yeah, he's his therapist. And you find out that he starts telling a story, but you find out that he has like 13 different personalities.
Yep.
And this entire story, this whole film is these personalities
Yeah.
fighting each other for survival to come up forth.
Mhm.
And you find out one of them is just a serial killer.
Yeah.
And that's the one that it had such a good twist. I was just blown away by this
That-
film.
The fact that in the if I remember right, the child is the serial killer,
Yes,
right?
it's the child.
Yeah. And Amanda Pete's the one that takes over for the most part. Like he becomes subdued, and then at the end he's like, whores don't get a second chance.
Yep.
Oh,
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
That's the
Yep.
part I remember. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I think she's like, is she a prostitute? I think
She's
she's
supposed to be like a prostitute or like a stripper or something
Yeah,
like that.
something of that nature. But yeah, it's the child. It's the child who's the serial killer. You find out that because they like get like a winery or a lemon farm or some shit like that, and she's like trying to plant.
Yeah,
Something
this is
when-
still all in his head.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
all in his head. And then it wasn't until
He's
the
like
ending.
he's like in the cop car or like in the ambulance when the child takes over again and kills the last
and he
personality.
escapes. Just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just
That's a dope movie. I'd
Yep.
forgotten about that.
so.
Yeah, I love it.
The fact that it's all in his head though, and you just don't know it.
Well, and they keep bouncing back and forth, and like at certain times, it's like it's John Cusack giving the fucking
Yep.
testimony or whatever to Alfred Molina. Like,
I think at least at one point, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
at
he's,
one
he's
point-
the one you follow them. Like,
yeah, he's
follow
like
through.
he's quote unquote the main character.
Yep.
Is he a limo driver
Yes.
in this one?
Yeah,
He's a limo driver twice.
he's a driver in a lot of things.
So, yeah. So 2003 Identity. Yeah, love this film. Still to this day, love this film. And then I chose Peaceful Warrior, 2006.
That's a great
Peaceful
movie.
Warrior. And I struggled with trying to find. I fought between this one and the other one. And if none of you guys have it, I'll mention it later. But the reason why I chose Peaceful Warriors because this is the only other film I've ever seen the guy from Eurotrip in.
Yeah,
And
I've seen him in like one or two other things briefly, but yeah.
Scott Malkowicz. I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Sounds Jewish. Nick Nolte is in it. Amy Smart. Paul Wesley, who's mostly known now for Vampire Diaries.
Gross.
Ray Wise, who's an older gentleman. He was in Digging Up the Marrow. He was the devil and Reaper.
Yeah,
the show
yep.
Reaper.
I know that show.
So
I know that guy. I know the show too.
The movie is basically about this spoiled, rich, athletic kid who was speeding, gets in a motorcycle accident,
Yeah,
basically becomes paralyzed, but
partially so. Like
yeah, something like that. Like he loses function of his legs, I think, is what it is.
Like he has to walk with crutches for sure.
Yep.
Like he's got the
Braces. Yeah, yep. And he this is based
I
off
don't know how
of
best to describe him.
this is based off a book
Which
by
I've read part of.
Dan Millman. Yeah, it's a good book.
He's got a
He's got-
series of them
yep,
about
I think there's
that
3
guy,
of them.
like 2 or 3. Yeah.
Yep.
But the
I
guy
know I read
that's
the first one.
Socrates, I think, is Nick
Yes,
Nolte's character. It's about Socrates.
Socrates and Nick Nolte, which is basically his spirit guide to help him be a better person. So he was a shitty person. He gets in this accident.
He was like a trust fund kid.
He
almost.
he was just a piece of shit kid, and he feels like sorry for himself that
Yeah,
this
he
happened, and
gets
it
stuck
doesn't
in
happen to good
self-pity.
people, and this and that, and he deserved everything that came to him.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And that was him redefining himself. So he starts to get into like gymnastics. So somebody who couldn't walk.
I thought he was a
starts to-
gymnast before.
He was,
And
but
then
I'm
he,
saying
like,
that he
but
gets back into it.
Like
after being
Nick Nolte
basically
coaches him and basically teaches him like,
Yep.
the only person standing in your way is
is you.
yourself.
Yep. So
Like-
it's very profound, but it is once again like right there, the only one person standing in your way is you, and that's
It's
the reason
very-
why I chose
it's-
this
The
one.
movie is very much sack up, Nancy.
Yeah. Yep. Walk it off.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose this one.
Legit.
It's a lot more about
I don't think I watched the full movie, but I remember reading most of the book.
yeah. My mom made me read it when I was like 13.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I never seen it. So
good.
I'll have to check it out.
I have
It's
some
worth a watch. It's somewhere up there. The
It's
book's
definitely worth watching, especially Nick Nolte because he's
very un-Nick Nolte in this
Oh,
movie.
you can understand what he's saying.
Well, no, he still grumbles the
still
whole time, but he's
grumbles.
like, he's
Still
not
Nick Nolte.
He's not like, he's not weird. And
well, he's
not,
kind of
like-
weird.
I mean, he's kind of weird, but in like a different.
randomly, the weirdest part that he ever does, is he like disappears and he's like up in the rafters.
Yeah, he's almost supernatural in this movie.
And that's the thing. You don't know if he's human or not. You don't know.
he's either human that like
never answer.
Or like an angel kind of
Yeah.
concept. You don't know.
which is why his name is Socrates.
Who's going next? Those are my films. Those are my 3. All right, Jason, you go.
Well, I can't.
Run away. away and go pee.
What the fuck?
Oh, you weren't ready?
I am ready. Well, I hit one button and now looks like I'm not.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel weird talking. Oh shit, whatever. I just deleted a thing. All right. Going in order.
What's your order? Years?
I guess so. Yeah,
Okay. Stealing mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit. All right. So I'm actually going to go with a TV series, HBO series. I don't know if that's against the rules or not, but it's 5 seasons. It has a beginning and an ending, so it's
The Wire.
Yes.
How did I know that? How did I know that?
How did I know that? Never mind. The episode hasn't came out yet, so the reference won't work. You know me too well. The Wire. Pick a character. They all have this and that. What have you heard about the show? Because I'm sure you've heard people tell you to watch it for many years now.
Yep.
It ran from 2002 to 2008.
I watched the first episode and I didn't even get. I didn't get move on. I just keep getting told if you want to know about street violence and street gangs and all that, and it's really raw and very grungy or whatever. And people just say, "Oh, yeah, watch that."
No, fuck all that. Well, it is raw and grungy. And
I grew up
gritty,
on the street. I don't need to see that shit.
But the street violence, all that stuff, fuck all that shit. It's the character development and the choices they make. The cops and the gangsters, they go through promotions and demotions, and it's all versus themselves. And they're just dealing with, you watch them, I don't know, just go through these fucking personal struggles, make these choices. That's the entertaining part of this 5-season series. Because you see them go up or down ranks through the choices they make. I'm talking about the show The Wire.
Never seen it.
But the main character is Detective McNulty. He's the one that he has a problem with the system of police. He's the good police, but he
was in 300.
Yeah, he's an alcoholic and a kind of a shitty father, and he's a divorcee or whatever. So there's tons of personal shit, but he's the main one, and many other characters have versus self things. I'm not gonna tell you to watch it, either of you.
I already tried.
Because you guys would have by now. But I am one of those people, I fucking love this shit. I watch it once a year, whether it's the whole thing or not. But yeah, it's the character development and the choices they make. And the ending to the series is they all get it. It ends proper.
Everybody dies.
No.
But they probably should have.
So,
right.
When did we get into doing series?
Oh, yeah.
He switched it on us.
I did.
He changed the gears. He's being a rebel.
You son of a bitch.
Well, I figured it'd be okay. Because it has a solid beginning and a solid ending. And it's only 5 seasons. Not to me.
Anyways, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, and I'm going to cry. Fuck.
What year was that? 2002, you said?
2002 to 2008, yeah.
What did it run for 5 seasons?
Yeah. And it's amazing.
No.
All right, 2008. I really hope no one's talked about this movie. The Wrestler.
You did.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you do it for sports movies?
I think so.
Fuck.
I'll give it to him, though.
I'll give it to you.
Man.
I'll give it to you.
Because
you talked about this.
I actually thought about doing the Family Man, which I know.
It was only 4 episodes ago. So
that's bullshit. First of all,
I thought about doing the Family Man, which I did for.
Yeah, no, you talked about it.
That's legit. Do it.
Do it anyway.
You're right.
A faded professional wrestler must retire, but finds his quest for a new life outside the ring in dispiriting struggle. I don't know. Fuck, I already talked about it. Now I'm embarrassed.
No, this movie it's good though.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
It hits the mark on.
Definitely a man versus self for sure.
Because what's his biggest conflict?
His career, love.
Basically it's
him finding a spot himself outside of his career because he's he basically shouldn't be wrestling anymore. He just ends up with a heart condition.
He doesn't want to die a loser.
Yeah, okay.
Is really what it is. So he wants to not only make something of himself, he wants to know that what he did mattered. Is
Right.
essentially what it is.
Because
Which
he was
don't we
on
all,
top
but
once, and then he's
Yeah,
just
he's
older,
faded
and
from glory.
He's a thing of the past.
now he's selling like old
He's
posters. and
he's
figures.
basically Jake the Snake Roberts at this point. Like
Yeah.
I think that's the allegory is the life of Jake the Snake. But yeah, even like at the end of the movie, like when he's wrestling that match, like before he goes, like him and Marissa Tomei, he's like, it's like out in the real world, like I'm nothing, but here, like I matter.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the speech because
Because he's a goddamn deli slicer.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
he
He
is.
cuts his fucking.
Him and his daughter are estranged. He's like, I remember that whole speech. Like I'm just a broken down piece of meat. I just don't want you to hate me.
Yep.
He's like, I'm alone and I deserve to be alone.
It works though. It really
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
Definitely, for sure.
I love that movie. I watch it.
It's a great movie. It's before Mickey Rourke looked weird.
I don't know. He looked a little weird here. but-
You seen him now?
yeah, not much.
All
no,
the
he
all
looks
the
weird.
the new teeth and the plastic surgery. He's
Oh, yeah.
fucked now.
He looks weird in this movie, but it
worked
works
and
because
it
this
works.
character, you need
looks-
you need him to be
yeah. Like
beat
run
up.
down and beat up.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So it
Yeah.
like doesn't look out of place like his real self because of many poor
Decisions.
plastic surgery
It was
decisions.
like now he just looks like Frankenstein's monster.
Because that guy used to be like a fucking
a professional
beautiful
boxer.
person. Like back, he was acting early on.
He's a
Like
gold
Yeah.
glove boxer.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like a hot model back in the day, I believe. And
Remember
then-
Double
I don't
Team
know
with
about that.
John
He's in The
Claude Van Damme
Professional.
and Dennis Rodman?
Or no, that was Gary Oldman, was it?
No, he was a professional boxer
is
for
he?
sure.
No, I'm saying the professional. Is that Gary Oldman or is
That's
that?
Gary Oldman.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
That's
Oh.
Gary Oldman, John Reno.
right on.
Gary Oldman.
We've gotten into an entirely different aspect of this whole thing.
Yeah, I like to think that his heart gave out at the final.
Actually,
Yeah.
the director or the producer, one of the two,
Okay.
came out and said that he's actually like at that end, that's him dying.
Yeah.
He dies at the end.
Because
It's a freeze frame, so he's up in the air.
Yeah, he jumps for
And
his like
that's
his
And-
finishing move.
yes, exactly. But
But you
that
hear
was
it
his
in
choice.
silence. Yeah, you hear the heartbeat race,
Yeah,
race.
he's-
And they said he was warned that, hey, dude, if you do this, you might go.
That's
Like
the
you're
whole,
not supposed to do it. Yep. So
That's the whole movie.
And even
Him
the guy
pushing
he's wrestling
himself.
is like,
are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
just call it out, like throw it in the towel. Like,
But
he's
his
like,
whole
no.
point is, once
Yeah,
again, he wants
gotta
to
go
go
out.
out doing what he's known for doing.
This is
He wants
Do
to
you
make
think
sure it
that?
matters.
It's what makes him matter.
Do you think that if you so basically he goes to final move somebody but then has a heart attack, do you think that would work? Would
I
that be
think
worth
he-
it? Would you look at that person and be like, you went out good
It's like
if you saw that on TV?
let's say it's like a superhero. Let's say a superhero dies saving 1,000 people in a building, burning building. Do you think it would be worth it?
Well, yeah, that's
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you
kind
this
of
way.
different.
I'll
Kind
give
of,
it to you a
except for his whole view is to him.
Saving his legacy.
To him, it's about it goes both ways. It's selfish and it's selfless because he's doing all this stuff not for fame necessarily,
Dignity. Or,
but it's to entertain the audience. But because the audience is entertained and they feel him, they love him, he gets to feel.
I'll give it to you differently.
oh yeah.
Think of how many wrestlers have gone out in a hotel room overdosing, or because they were forgotten, they died and no one gave a shit. Versus someone that died in the ring doing that stuff. Who do you think they remember more? Like that's the idea.
Yeah.
Like,
Now I see. Yeah.
Bret Hart.
Owen Hart, you're thinking.
Owen
of.
Hart.
Bret Hart's
Owen
not
Hart?
dead.
No. But I was thinking his brother.
Yeah, Owen Hart died in that
Owen
thing.
Hart, he died in the ring.
Yeah.
Like it was a straight up. Nobody's ever forgotten that
Yeah,
ever.
and
It was a pure accident.
This is
But-
where he matters. Like this is what he does to like be remembered. So he died doing that versus being forgotten in a hotel room on the road. Like yeah, he was supposed to wrestle like the next night in a gymnasium, but like no one gave a shit that he died because he's old. Like he was still wrestling and like he went out doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's,
that's
it's a,
the
It's a
idea.
little bit of like it's like I said, it's a little bit of a selfish thing because he wants to be remembered.
Yeah.
And he's doing it in a manner that's very like he's sacrificing his body, his health,
Oh, yeah.
everything to do it.
Yeah.
But it's a little superficial too because he could fade? What if wrestling just stops becoming a thing? Maybe people won't forget, or those people die who do remember him 20 years, 30 years, even 100 years down the road. Who's going to matter? So it's all about making a stamp. So it's just
and it's all he knows. It's all he's good at. He can't really. It's too late. He's too old to like make a transition and learn something new.
It's like
all he's got.
It's like he says in Marissa Tomei, is like, out there I don't matter. Like I'm just a guy. Like but in here, like I'm something. And
now,
like he goes out doing it that way.
You bring this up. I don't want to get too much into it, but I look at the same thing. How many fucking scientists out there develop and create, invent, whatever, all the things that matter in the world that we do. But who do we remember? Fucking celebrities that make us laugh on TV.
Yeah.
That don't mean shit just because they entertain us. But we'll remember them because they're on TV. But we won't know who invented the fucking satellite.
Right.
I couldn't name the person who invented the satellite. Can you?
Unless you really into it, like you can't name the guy that invented penicillin. Even though I've heard his name a number of times, I couldn't tell you who the fuck he was.
But I could tell you fucking a lot of these actors.
I can talk about actors and wrestlers and like you know I can't talk about sports stars, but like I can talk about like musicians and stuff like that.
But that's the point, you know. So.
Hell yeah.
No, I'll give you that one. Although
for sure.
did talk about it.
Hell yeah.
4 episodes ago.
Hey. I'll be back and talking about it in a few more
months.
Leave
him alone. He's just a boy.
All right. It's My Princess Bride, but all right. Next movie. Fucking A. Why is this happening?
What?
Why can't
Talking
I
about
see
this
this
one
movie?
too?
Oh, because 2014, Birdman.
Ooh, yeah.
A washed-up
thought about this one,
superhero
too.
actor
It was on
attempts
my
to
list.
revive his fading career by writing, directing, starring in a Broadway production. Very similar to The Wrestler, just fucking acting instead. But
Yeah.
woo, this movie is just...
That movie's a wild ride.
Oh, the director, the one-shots, the how it's filmed is... So it could be like an artsy fucking...
And I was gonna save that film for
Yeah.
later on down the road.
Don't worry, I'll bring it up.
The
again.
guys that directed, that's a team of brothers, right?
No.
No.
I thought it was... Oh, okay.
So
I
it's,
don't know why I thought it
it's
was...
the same guy who did Revenant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't... Alejandro something.
Yeah.
or other.
Okay.
Same guy who did Revenant.
Haven't seen The Revenant, but whatever.
Yep.
That's fine.
Same guy.
But understandable.
But the
I don't know why I
performances...
thought it was brothers. But
What, Emma Stone? Fuck, I should
Emma
probably-
Stone, Edward
Michael
Norton,
Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Edward Norton's in it?
Norton.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot about
Yeah.
Edward Norton.
Oh, Zach Galifianakis even?
Hell yeah.
Which is barely in it, though.
Right.
He plays like...
The
he basically
brother?
plays his assistant.
Oh, okay.
So he's in it, but he's not like a primary.
Naomi Watts. I don't know. It's just a
It's
fucking...
Michael Keaton. First of all, Michael Keaton's performance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Phenomenal.
yeah.
He's the only one that really matters in this entire film. The daughter doesn't matter, which is Emma Stone. Doesn't really matter.
Emma Stone doesn't matter till the very end.
It doesn't matter. It's just relationship that he has with her that matters. That's the only connection there is he's trying to have a relationship with a daughter who doesn't give a fuck.
She's like a drug addict too, like a recovering drug addict, didn't she? I've only seen the movie once, but I remember being very good. She's had some sort of like issues that she was overcoming on her own.
I
I think she's just
kid. Like a kid, yeah, like a teenager.
Oh, she's just an asshole?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's an asshole.
a spoiled brat. Yeah. I think.
But it's Michael Keaton's performance.
I like
Phenomenal.
Edward Norton's. What he thinks he's like the best actor in the world or something. He's just kind of an asshole dick. Like
Yeah.
he sells that.
He's
shit.
pompous.
Yeah,
He's a good foil to Michael Keaton's character.
This really, really nails in why I don't like Edward Norton that much. I just feel like this is who he is in real life.
I feel like Edward Norton was just doing true life stuff.
I
and
really
just-
do. Except for maybe
he thought it was a
doesn't-
documentary.
Yeah, except for maybe he doesn't need an erection to actually perform well.
Oh, right.
So,
But I would have to agree. Like I've seen him on the Rogan podcast and a few other things when he came out with the movie Mother for Brooklyn, and I just got that vibe. Like he is kind of fucking in love with himself, and he's I don't know. I guess I should like him more because he stammers more than I do, so I should relate to it.
he's not, like I say, he's not talented. I just don't care for him.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think he does anything that's phenomenal other than
So yeah, I
American
think
History X.
why he probably did so well in that role is because he was just being
he's just
himself.
being himself. But Michael Keaton, man,
Yeah,
fucking
that-
phenomenal.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've always been in love with that guy, but this movie blew me away. Like, holy shit, dude, you were
Right.
like,
And this was really the resurgence of Michael Keaton's career, wasn't it? Like
Yeah, he
done
hasn't
the other
really
guy.
done much,
The other
yeah.
guys, I think, was like the other building block to it. But like those two movies are really where like all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, Michael Keaton can act. And like they really brought it back. Like they brought him back into the limelight, and like he's been doing really well for himself, and I'm happy for it because I think he's a phenomenal.
Yeah, because
actor.
shortly after this, he goes and does Vulture for Homecoming. So
Yeah.
for the Spider-Man movie, and I don't know. I have to agree. Yeah, like he hadn't really done a lot. He's done.
He hadn't
things here and
stopped
there,
acting, but he wasn't doing anything truly like
the
phenomenal.
other guys is the only thing I can think of. As well.
I know he did some
And
movie.
he's fucking hilarious.
There's like some movie like within a couple years of this, I think, where like he was the editor of a newspaper where like they broke the.
Oh, Spotlight, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, with the priest and all the
Yeah,
pedophilia.
about the Catholic. Yeah,
I remember
Catholic.
that.
Like, so like he started
Yeah.
to do more serious shit like that too, and like I say, it's been nice to see him really recreate his career, and I don't know. I've always loved him as an actor, but I think it's been nice just to see him kind of come back.
What was
Especially that strong.
What was your three? So it was
The Wire,
The Wire,
Birdman.
Wrestler, and
then
Birdman.
Birdman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are dope picks.
Hell yeah.
All right, Aaron.
All right, let's do this.
You're on the spotlight.
Okay. So, Jesus Christ. So, first movie I picked is a movie I saw in high school film class the first time. It was like, I was in awe of the movie. It was Memento.
Nope.
Hell yeah.
Guy Pearce and
Chris Nolan right there.
Guy Pearce, Carrie Ann Moss, Joe
Is this first
Pantoliano,
film?
Joey Pants,
What? It's his first
Christopher
film?
Nolan. This was his first film. Yeah.
which fucking, that's
Natural born
legit.
director. Jesus Christ.
No shit, this movie
Yeah,
was
writer,
dope.
Brian.
What's crazy thing about Memento is like the way that he created the concept for Memento is he created this like thing like this.
Flowchart?
I don't know what I call
Venn
it.
diagram or a flow
No,
chart?
no, just like this. It's literally like a staple, but just rounded out. So
Horseshoe.
he drew, yeah, basically like a horseshoe. It's basically like a horseshoe. Yeah, I'll use that. So it's like a horseshoe, and what he did is he created lines across the horseshoe, and then he goes, "These are the parts he remembers. These are the parts he doesn't, and every other." The
Interesting.
simplicity of
Yeah.
that, and yet the complexity
Yeah.
of this fucking film
Right.
blew my mind. I'm like, what? What?
Oh yeah,
How
I
does
was
that
like, saying,
work?
I was 17 at best watching this movie. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal film. Plus, it has one of my favorite actors,
Guy Pearce.
Guy
Yeah.
Pearce. I love that guy.
I love Joey Pantoliano as an actor, so the fact that he was in it was really cool. I could have given less than a shit about Carrie Ann Moss.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, oh, she's Trinity from The Matrix. Like, I give a fuck.
Yep. And she was nothing special in this.
Right.
Yeah.
She was just like she basically was like something to further the plot for about
Well-
5 minutes.
She was a fucking bitch in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, for sure.
A straight out CUNT.
I think somebody I used to know called it a see you next Tuesday, which I was like, really? You have to really
I don't know.
prolong it for that? But yeah, I really enjoy the way the movie's filmed, and I think the concept of running like short-term memory pieces together
Yeah.
and like what ended up being a backwards cohesive timeline was actually really cool.
And you were really not sure who this guy is at all.
No,
Still, even to the end, you're like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? A bad guy? Good guy? Bad guy? What's going on? Like,
you realize he's just a
We're
guy
not
that
supposed to
won't.
know because he doesn't know.
yeah, basically.
I feel like I've seen it in one other movie and I just had it and I've forgotten it. But like, there's another movie where like he understands the truth for a moment and chooses to ignore it.
Interesting.
Cause that's what he like at the
He realizes he's probably a bad guy, and then
quote
realizes
unquote,
that
I don't even think he's a bad guy per se. It's just like a morally
corrupt.
a morally gray character. Cause like he's not acting on any malicious intent. He's just trying to find the truth, but because the truth is something he can't stand, he
Pretty sure he kills
augments
a
it.
guy though.
Well, no, yeah, he kills Joey Pants, but like he's acting on like truth that he doesn't understand has been augmented.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So he's
Okay.
he's not malicious. He's just reacting.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
He doesn't understand that
because he doesn't know.
Yeah, he changes
It's
the
an
truth
innocence
himself.
thing. This is a true statement of ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
Like he
Most
literally is completely ignorant because he has no idea.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, I
way
just
of
think it's a
looking
very
at it.
interesting way to film it. And yeah, he's not a malicious character. Even if being the bad guy is what you get out of it, he's not a malicious bad guy.
No. Yep.
He's a victim of circumstance.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
Very in any sense of the word. Like there's people taking advantage of him. Like he takes advantage of his own state because he learns that like whatever he thought was true at the end wasn't true. But he just like, nope, I can't handle that. So he just completely changes the script and like leaves himself scrambling for more answers.
Still, one of my favorite things is when he's running in the trailer park and he's like, kind of like wakes up. He's like, I'm chasing this guy. Okay, I'm on a run.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No, he's chasing me. Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, and doesn't the end of the movie leave you thinking that, like, he's just going to do it all over again?
Well, because the movie's
'Cause
filmed backwards.
Yeah, it's basically backwards.
Right, but it's just a cycle that he just does, like, every fucking month, it seems
Well,
like.
and that's what you
'Cause
get.
he,
from
It's
like,
a short-term memory.
He,
thing.
but
doesn't
he,
know who
like
he
you
is.
said, he gets rid of a part or important piece of information, and then it just seems like when he does that, he's gonna track down the answers all over again.
Because he can't handle the idea that there's no reason for his wife's death or whatever, like that, or that he already fixed it. Like he has no.
There's no.
He has nothing to go forward with.
It's a sense of purpose.
Yeah, he has to keep going. He has to have something to keep going. So like he switches it so that he has something to move forward with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that, like I say, he's a victim of circumstance.
Yeah.
Because like he can't hold on to anything else. So he's got to hold on to what he's got. And you know, it's a sad state of affairs that's
Right.
what happens. Like he's only got his tattoos to remind him of stuff, and like he's got to keep something moving forward. Otherwise, he just.
That's some sad shit.
It's a terribly sad movie if
Yeah.
you look at it from the right perspective. It's terribly sad.
Yeah, that movie it's a masterpiece. And
Oh, for sure.
It will always be a masterpiece. And that's his first film, Christopher Nolan. That's
Yeah. I didn't know that was Christopher Nolan's first film, to be completely honest. But
me
like,
neither. And that's just, I don't know. That's too good to be your first of anything. Like, no one has that great.
it
sex
becomes, well, how
right
do you
away.
follow that up?
Right. Oh, everything else.
Right? So Memento.
When was that? What, 2000?
2000. Oh, God damn it.
2001? I think?
I think 2001. Hold on a second.
Yeah. I remember when
I feel like
2000.
2000. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's close. I remember watching. I think I watched that one in Requiem too. Requiem
For a Dream.
for a Dream.
For a
Thank
Dream.
you. Around the same time.
Now, those came out
And-
around the same time. Those
Yep.
definitely.
And I loved them both for.
I've
exactly
only
what we're talking
seen
about.
most of Requiem for a Dream once, and I was very much like not nonplussed by the whole thing.
Yeah. It wasn't until I saw The Fountain that I realized that I'm in love with Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
Because I saw
And I watched
Pi,
The Fountain too.
Requiem and The Fountain, and I'm like, oh, God, these are just amazing.
I watched The Fountain, and then it was like when I watched Hugh Jackman turn into a flower bed, I was like, what the hell is happening?
All right, what's your next one?
So the next one I've got is 2001, and so it's gonna be because of the actor in it. I know that there's gonna be some shit about it, but I try to separate the actor's actions versus his art.
Oh, God.
But K-Pax,
Yep,
Kevin
I was gonna say
Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, yep.
Kevin Spacey and Jeff Bridges are the two main actors, and obviously the shit surrounding Kevin Spacey. Don't condone anything he did or whatever. But this movie is phenomenal. And
It's
he does a
phenomenal.
great job in it. So does Jeff Bridges.
You seen it?
Yeah, not since it came out, but.
There's I'm trying to think of who else is in it. There's Mary McCormick is in it as I assume is Jeff Bridges' wife. There's a lot of people in this movie, but it's basically Kevin Spacey shows up in a train station claiming to be an alien named Prot. Yeah, Prot. And Jeff Bridges is the psychiatrist that is assigned to evaluate him and try to convince him that he's not an alien.
Basically, that he's mental.
Right.
That
And he's
there's
stuck in a
something-
psych ward.
Some tragic, something that happened.
And you do uncover the tragic things that surrounded the actual person that Prot is. Even though there's the
It has
ending
a
leaves you
great
thinking,
ending, though,
the
yeah.
ending leaves, and there's so K-Pax, I believe, is based on a book, and there's a second book about Prot after the fact.
I'm gonna have to fucking look that up. I didn't know that.
But basically, you know, Jeff Bridges is dealing with his own issues. Like I believe he's trying to retire or not retire, but like he's basically kind of.
I don't know. I think he's trying to something.
But
there's some conflict he's dealing
got
with.
family life that's kind of like imbalanced between him and his work. He's also got a son that's in college that he's estranged from. And Aaron Paul is at the end of it as the son that he's estranged from. But essentially, like
he's from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
His breakout. He's also in Van Wilder.
He's in some kind of cult show on Hulu. The
Following?
The Path.
Following.
Not the Following.
Path.
The Following. Yeah, The Path. The Following was Kevin Bacon and the guy from A Knight's Tale. But anyway, Jeff Bridges essentially is trying to talk Kevin Spacey's character out of the fact that he's an alien. But he's also learning these weird life lessons, and Prot is teaching these life lessons to other inmates or patients at the psych. I don't know why I call them inmates, but he teaches there's a guy with OCD that he actually gets to sit still and just look out a window for a while, and like there's another guy who's like a hypochondriac, basically gets the OCD guy to choke him to death. And then they get revived, and then like he stops being afraid of germs because he died. They figured it was like, it's not a big deal. Like everybody dies. Like and like I forget who. And there's a despondent patient who doesn't talk, and Prot talks about
borderline catatonic.
Yeah, there's all this talk about Prot going back to his home planet. He can take one person with him,
and that's who he takes.
And yeah, there's this one person who
travel by light. Beams of light.
Beams of light. Yeah, he travels on light beams.
Fuck, maybe I haven't seen this movie.
You should. It's as much as Kevin Spacey's
if anything, rewatch it because it is a great movie.
Yeah. As big a piece of shit as Kevin Spacey is, it's a good movie.
Once again, he's a phenomenal actor, but he's just a piece of shit of a person.
Oh, exactly. I mean, there's a reason he's not really allowed to do anything in Hollywood anymore. Like, but in his heyday, he could act.
Yeah.
Even
Guy Pearce is. It's just funny that you had that in this because even Guy Pearce said went on the Me Too, kind of said that Kevin Spacey on L.A. Confidential.
Oh yeah,
which was one of Guy Pearce's first films they did in Hollywood.
Yeah,
felt very uncomfortable. He used to slap his ass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, K-Pax. It's a phenomenal movie. Like if you haven't watched, 2001.
Okay.
This is, I can't remember when The Big Lebowski came out, but
I remember watching this movie in high school and just thinking it blew my mind.
And the really weird thing is that like as emotional as a movie this is, it doesn't leave you like emotionally like devastated. It doesn't leave you emotionally like
you get
tired.
A sad moment.
You get a sad moment, but like the whole ending is actually very positive and very like upbeat
because he enriched others' lives. He helped with some problems that were basically trivial in a bigger, larger scheme of things. And
he helped so many patients in that ward.
Even Jeff Bridges,
and Jeff Bridges like reconnects with his son that he's estranged from.
So what was it that happened though with the bodies? Like his like children died.
His wife and his child were murdered by somebody that like some like drifter that came through. But like he worked in a slaughterhouse as what was called a knocker, which basically he would take a sledgehammer and clock cows on the side of the head and like basically knock them out so they could be slaughtered. So he had a lot of
the idea that he was big and strong.
Yeah, he had a lot of upper body strength, and that was like he finds the guy. Basically, I think the guy basically rapes the mother and daughter.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Spacey's character, I can't remember the name, finds him and basically like snaps his neck barehanded and then like basically runs away.
Yeah.
Runs away into the wilderness and ends up in a river and like is taken off by the river and then shows back up as Prot.
Yep.
However long later.
And the reason why I was asking is because it's very, very similar to a Green Mile. So that's why I was like, which one is it? Like, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So.
And K-Pax is a story, I'm pretty sure.
A book?
Yeah, a book. Or like I say, I think there's a secondary book about Prot.
I'm going to have to look that up because I want to read that.
Because at the end, you see Prot is always talking about like, he's like, I'm leaving on this day. Like, I will be gone after this. And then so Jeff Bridges finds out the truth of the whole thing. Like what happened to the actual guy whose body Prot is using. and tries to get to him. And then you see this weird flash of light, and then Kevin Spacey's body is basically in a catatonic state. Doesn't respond to anything.
He's like under the bed.
Yeah,
doesn't
they find
have
him under
sunglasses
the bed.
anymore.
He's just he's not wearing sunglasses. Like proclaims that like he can't stand the sunlight that well, so he wears glasses.
Sunglasses, yep.
And at the end, you see this big flash of light, and then the sunglasses are gone. Kevin Spacey's under a bed and is catatonic. Like literally doesn't respond to anything.
But the person that he said he could take one person with, the person that he chose is gone.
Yeah,
it's not there anymore.
The one that like the despondent patient who like he has
I think it was
everybody.
A woman too.
It was it was a young woman. He has everybody basically write a reason why they shouldn't be here, like why they should go with, and she writes basically, I don't have a home, and he takes her with.
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah, it's
enough said. Just watch it.
It leaves you like it's one of those
I expect
ones
you to
like,
watch it by Wednesday.
It is legit one of those ones where like you are left with questions.
Homework.
It is a phenomenal film.
It's a great movie. So the last one I have is 2007's The Martian Child,
which was on my list as well.
Yep.
What the fuck?
John Cusack.
So it's about John Cusack.
Joan Cusack.
Yeah, Joan Cusack is in it for a hot minute.
They're like always in movies together for just little cameo parts.
So John Cusack is a science fiction writer. His wife just recently passed, and they had talked about adopting a child beforehand. So he, in an effort to carry on,
Jason. I believe it's over there.
Martian what?
The Martian Child.
It's like right over there somewhere.
I'm trying to listen to him. Shut up.
So in an effort to carry on his wife's wishes, he adopts a child. And the child is this very unique kid who believes he's from Mars. Wears like a helmet and wears like batteries on his like a weight belt essentially because he says that gravity will take him away if he takes it off. And the whole movie is them finding like a balance to the life, essentially. Like he's trying not to like hurt the child by telling him that being from Mars doesn't exist. Like you can't do that.
They
like,
find a safe place between themselves because he has his own issues. The kid has his own issues. So they find this connection that basically they create this own bubble, which is his house basically. But it's like it's more like their friendship. Like as long as the kid is with him and he's with the kid, that they create this like own little bubble of a safe spot.
Yeah,
that's essentially what the movie
I remember
looks
this scene from the movie, and like he's trying to write, and the kid has something and drops it, and it's glass and it shatters, and like John Cusack just quickly picks him up, pulls him out of the way, says something kind of brusque to him, not necessarily angry, but like very brusque and like in the moment, like you got to be more careful or something like that. And the kid kind of freaks out a little bit and like reverts the Martian sort of thing. And John Cusack just goes, "You know what? It's okay. Like it's not a big deal. It's just a thing."
And they break the
and they start breaking shit. And he's like, "It's not a big deal. See, watch." And he's constantly trying to meet the kid on his ground, but like at the same time, he's trying to learn how to be a father at the same time. Like he doesn't know how to do any of that shit.
And that scene too. There's we're those people that come for child services.
Yeah.
That's what child service person agent is actually coming at the door as he's breaking shit too.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the child agent is.
I don't either. But there's like that part towards the end where like he talks to the kid and basically says, if you say these things, they will let you stay with me. So they like, he teaches them how to play baseball and he teaches them things like that. And like, so the kid tells them.
Teaches how to Dougie.
The kid tells the courts or whatever. And then after the fact, he goes back to being a Martian. He's like, I thought we had like an understanding, like, we would do this instead. And the kid's like, well, no, we just did, like, kid didn't understand that was supposed to be like from here on in. Like, he just did it just to be able to stay. Uh-huh. And of course, they have that conflict where like the kid runs away. The kid is in the crisis where he's like, they're coming back, like he's deciding that his family are coming back to take him home. And so he like climbs to the top of an observatory, I think. And like John Cusack has to go out, something like that. And John Cusack goes out like and like tries to like talk him back in. Like the kid takes his weight belt off and like
I feel
tosses
like it was
away.
Like this thing that he built, like this like toy, like on a playground or something. He like built this kind of tower thing.
You sure that's not Kindergarten Cop?
No, definitely not that one.
Okay.
That's like a weather balloon.
No, that was like
weather
little
machine.
foil things. He climbs a radio tower and starts putting those foil things on.
No, not like that. That kid
But
was out
no,
of
but
his
yeah,
mind.
he had some sort of way to like he quote unquote communicated with his family from Mars, and it was like they were coming to get him.
Yeah. Beautiful film.
It's a really well done film, and it John Cusack is definitely dealing with himself, like trying to be a father, but also like we talked about beforehand, like there's a lot of self-loathing in him because he talks about this book that he writes about this creature versus like space marines or something like that.
Basically.
He's like, everyone's like, oh, you always picture yourself as like one of the space marines, right? He's like, no, I always picture myself as the creature.
Yeah. He feels out of place. He doesn't feel like he belongs in this world. And that's why he writes the science fiction that he does. But that was what this whole connection of this movie was. This kid doesn't feel like he belongs either.
Yeah.
And yet,
And that was where the common ground they found was like,
yep. But the himself, he's versing, the inner turmoil, I guess, that he's dealing with is he doesn't think that he is suited to be a parent.
Right.
And yet this is like the perfect parent for this child. And it's not until later that he realizes, like, yeah, this kid could be just as weird as he wants to be because I'm just as weird as I want to be.
he's really just trying to, when he adopts the child, he's really just trying to fulfill something him and his dead wife have talked about. He's trying to fulfill her wishes more than, because I think even somebody else, like,
I think it's just to be happy.
he's asked by whoever at the, like when he goes to see the kids at the orphanage, I guess would be the right word. But like the kids in like in a box, just hanging out. Like, are you sure? He's like, this is what she would have wanted. Like, this was what we talked about. Like, I want to do it. So it's very much like he's trying to fulfill these things that he feels like he's supposed to in a number of levels. Like it's very much like he's trying to find that balance. Like, this is what everyone expects me to be, but like maybe I can be myself at the same time, and trying to find how that works within each other.
Yep. I not gonna lie. Other than watching the trailer and remembering, like, hey, well, that looks like a good movie, I probably wouldn't have watched it and loved it as much if it wasn't for John Cusack, because I'm a sucker for John Cusack.
Yeah, me too.
But
He definitely has the right cadence and the right very personality for like his portrayal of the main character is very true to what should have been. I don't know that there's many people that could have done it the way he did it.
not really. I mean, I'd have to think about it. But
Yeah,
like,
I'd have to sit and ponder it
just
for a while.
worked. So
Yeah.
it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's definitely one of my favorite
Yeah.
of John
What year
Cusack's.
is it?
2007?
7?
Damn.
Damn, it's that old. My God.
Yeah.
Damn.
Surprised I never. Yeah, I watch everything John Cusack does.
Yeah, same here.
Surprised I never heard of it.
Well, it's over there on that shelf next to you somewhere.
It's a $1.46, and so it's a little longer movie.
I can tell you this.
That kid looks weird now.
That movie that I bought in 2007.
For sure.
Most of these movies I bought when they came out on DVD. So.
I have it, and I don't think I bought it when it came out, but I definitely have it. I think I got it on a Black Friday sale.
It's a good movie. You should watch it. So now you have homework to do.
Yeah, this is the one I have to watch, or was it K-Pax?
Both of them.
K-Pax and The Martian Child.
I'll put an asterisk next to it.
As a father, I think you would thoroughly enjoy it, and just
Especially knowing your
Find it
child
touching,
and how
yeah.
he feels about you. In this case, your son is more like John Cusack and you're like the child.
I'll make sure to watch it with
such
Aiden.
Martian.
I wonder if he would like it. He'd probably get bored.
Yeah.
Probably. I was like, there's not a lot of big beats. Like you have to sit and watch it to really grasp the emotional content to it.
But it's not boring. It's
not boring,
It's
but-
it's just a
But
typical
you got to be in
kind
the
of.
mood for that.
Yeah, it's like a family
connection.
drama kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a family film kind
I
of
can't
thing.
remember why Amanda Peet is the romantic interest, but she's the romantic partner or interest for John Cusack.
Maybe they liked each other from Identity.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Not wrong.
Yeah, so that's it, huh? That's all we
That's
got.
it.
That's
So
it. It's been like 3 hours.
I know. Right? So, by the way, my fourth film, the one that I chose
Yeah.
not to do from 1996, was The Sixth Sense.
Damn, I didn't even
Yep.
think about that one.
The reasoning why is because who do you think? Who do you think right away? Who do you think? You think Bruce Willis?
I was like, yeah, but
Nope.
at the same time, I can think
Nope,
Haley
it's
Joel
the
Osment.
kid.
Yeah.
The kid is struggling the entire time. The kid is struggling
Yeah.
dealing with the fact that he can see dead people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why.
Yeah, and my initial reaction was like, Bruce Willis, really?
Me too. I went through
Nope.
the same thoughts.
But yeah,
and I was
I
like,
can definitely see the Haley Joel Osment part.
Yep. The whole film is basically his internal battle that he can't. He doesn't want to see these people. They scare him. Doesn't know how to deal with it, and he has to deal with it anyway.
all on his own.
On
There's
his
no
own,
one-
yep.
you can't-
And I will say that's
and
and the movie itself with the performance too as a kid, like he's terrified. Like I think the reason why this movie,
Sorry, I thought of something.
I think the reason why this movie was so impactful is like he's a child who's terrified all the time, and he shows it. Like you feel bad for him
Oh,
in
yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt. Then the whole twist at the ending of Bruce Willis being a ghost, I was like,
What?
fucking what?
Spoilers.
Oh, come on. If you haven't, 1999,
Hey,
you haven't seen this and you didn't know about it, then
then you don't watch movies.
you're born in 2000.
I think even kids in 2000 knew Bruce Willis was a fucking ghost.
My son has seen it.
No, my favorite meme these days is like, oh, if you ever think your life is terrible, and then it shows a picture of Bruce Willis from the 60s. It's like, this guy was dead for a year and still went to work.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't know he was dead. It's crazy. So yeah,
Yeah.
that wraps it up.
Yeah,
That's
April.
the end of April. So
April.
next month, May, is going to be a new theme. It's going to be Musical May. Thanks to
Ugh.
Jason.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know why we listen to this guy.
It's been like 3 months in a row.
It has. You did March Madness. You did Natural Disasters, which is a disaster on its
Shit just
own.
fucking fell apart right away.
So we had to really quickly fix that one, and that's where we are now.
But we couldn't have got the Man versus whatever without my shitty idea. And now, yeah, musical. I'm fucking mad at myself. I don't even like musicals. So,
Well, here's the funny thing. We all said we don't like musicals. I found myself finding more musicals. I'm like, oh yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. Well, I like that. Or I like that. I like that. Well, shit,
was
maybe
looking
I
up
do like
shit. It was
musicals.
I've got
I
enough.
just don't want to admit it.
I've got enough that I've seen that I can put on a list.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I like them, but I got enough to put on lists.
So
it's still better than.
I'm actually
That's
picking ones that
that.
I like.
Well, that's the whole point of this. Anyways, goodbye, Tim.
Goodbye, Jason. Goodbye, Aram.
Fare thee well.
Thanks for showing up.
I'm sorry I work. Get off my dick. I don't have the luxuries you guys have.
Okay, that's off-air conversation.
Yeah. So,
luxuries.
well, thanks for showing up, Aram.
My pleasure. I enjoy being here whenever I can nowadays.
Yep. So, all right. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Peace.
Bye. Hurt feelings make me laugh.
Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to check us out. Jason, where can we be heard?
I don't know, Tim. Where can we be
Well,
heard?
let me tell you where we can be heard. You can find us on all the other platforms that you find podcasts, like iTunes and Amazon Music,
All them places you find all your favorite and popular podcasts.
Spotify.
That's where I listen to podcasts, and nowadays you can rate your podcast on there. Go ahead and give us 5 stars on Spotify or any other platform you listen to your favorite podcast on.
And Spotify.
If you want to watch us, you can find us on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, give it a share, you got a comment, all the algorithm stuff. It helps.
And if you want to comment on how bad and terrible we are doing or how ugly we look, just send us an email at bnbbanterbros@gmail.com.
And that's A-N-D, you said, between the B's?
A-N-D in between the B. You can also check us out on the multiple social platforms that consume everybody's life, like the YouTube, the Twitch, the Twitter, the TikTokity, and the Instagrammy, including Facebook. So please, come check us out. We'll catch you next time.